It is my privilege to welcome you all to the 5-day hybrid professional development program on transforming education and research through emerging technologies. This program has been thoughtfully designed to explore the transformative role of emerging technologies in higher education, research, innovation, and society development. Over the next 5 days, we shall engage with eminent academicians, researchers, industry experts, and policymakers who will share their valuable insights and experiences. To formally commence today's proceeding, I invite Professor Dr. Head at the Institute of Social Sciences to deliver the welcome address. Professor is head of the Institute of Social Sciences at several years of experience in teaching, research, and academic administration. She has made significant contribution to the field of biosocial anthropology, HIV and the population studies. Dr. Deb has successfully led and collaborated on several prestigious research projects funded by organizations such as ICMR, ICSSR, DBT, and Intel Technology. From academic excellence, she has actively organized international conferences, seminars, and workshops. Professor Deb is recognized for her scholarly leadership, interdisciplinary research approach, and dedication toward advancing anthropological research and with social relevance and community impact. Once again, please welcome Dr. Deb.
Good morning, all. So, I welcome all of you in this eventful professional development program. Here, with the blessings of our Honorable Founder President, a great motivator, our Honorable Chancellor Sir, with the encouragement of Honorable Vice Chancellor and immense support of the Director of Amit Institute of Social Sciences, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome all the distinguished dignitaries, respected speakers, faculty members, researchers, scholars, and participants to the 5-day hybrid professional development program on transforming education and research through emerging technologies. This program is organized by Amity Institute of Social Sciences in collaboration with Amity Academic Staff College. This program will continue for 5 days from today till 5th of June. When we were curating this program, we thoroughly thought of bringing together experts from academia, industry, and research organizations to deliberate upon the emerging technologies and their transformative role in education, research, social welfare, innovation, mixed method research, IPR, and sustainability. We are deep with the gracious presence of our dignitaries who are joined today, online and offline, and all the participants. Your presence and contribution will certainly enrich the discussion and learning experience over the next 5 days. Because this program, when we curated this program, we thought of the new education policy. With the new education policy, there is a multidisciplinary approach in any field you study, whatever research you do, the pedagogy is really formulated in that way where you have to incorporate whether it's artificial intelligence, whether it's GIS, you can talk about IPR here, you can talk on ethics of research. Everything needs to be incorporated in the pedagogy of teaching as well as research. So this program we thought of, and I am very sure that it will come out to be very fruitful and help each and every one of us who will be attending this program today and next 5 days. I sincerely like to thank here the university leadership, organizing committee, resource persons, and all the participants for their support and their enthusiastic participation. I hope this program will provide an insight and encourage interdisciplinary learning and inspire innovative academic and research practices. With this, I once again welcome all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for setting the tone of this important academic gathering and highlighting the significance of embracing technological transformations in education and research. I'm going to take this opportunity to request Professor Dr. Kash, Director of the Institute of Sciences, to provide a brief introduction. Kash is the Director of ESS in Amity University, Uttar Pradesh. With rich academic background, she has held positions at JP University of Information Technology, BITS Planning, George Washington University, University at Buffalo, and University of Maryland at College Park, USA. Professor Prakash expertise spans sociology, gender studies, health systems, and conflict management. Okay, over to you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, thank you. So, very good morning to all the delegates, offline and online. So, it's a great privilege to be here on behalf of Amity Institute of Social Sciences, which is organizing a very important event in collaboration with Amity Academic Staff College. And a lot of effort has been put in by Professor Rumi Dev. She's the HOD of the Anthropology Department, along with the Amity Academic Staff College Director Dr. Sagina Huda, and the team members, Dr. Tarun Joshi, Dr. Sumed, Dr. Prabhunur. So, it's a teamwork which has really come up to this. And with our Amity University that has come up with such strong technology in terms of, holding virtual conferences and workshops, what better can it be than to have a hybrid mode of such important events? And such important events, here the platform is possible only with the encouragement and the blessings of Honorable Founder President Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, our very dynamic Chancellor Dr. Atul Chauhan, lot of inspiration, guidance of our Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Balvinder Shukla, and also the guidance given by Additional Pro VC and Dean Academics Professor Khatri. So, you're all faculty members. It's a professional development program, research scholars. You have to embark on the journey towards academic excellence. So, these events are organized only with the objective of honing your skills, which you already have. So, participants offline and online, as I said, this is a very strong forte of Amity University, which started during COVID, when we went in for online classes and online assignments. So why not put used that technology where far off or nearby people, they can all join online. That is why we had this hybrid mode. So very warm welcome to all of you. As I said, participants who have joined online and offline, and also the research scholars and the participants joining this 5-day hybrid professional development program on transforming education and research through emerging technologies. We've got a lot of support from Amity Academic Staff College and also the organizers from Amity Institute of Social Sciences. The rapid advancement of technologies is reshaping the landscape of higher education and research. As educators and researchers, it is imperative that we continuously update our knowledge and skills to effectively use these emerging technologies while remaining mindful of their ethical and social implications. So yes, ethics becomes very important when technology is used. AI, of course, is a very important tool today, and there are a lot of, you could say, implications in the social sciences, but it has to be used in the best possible, perspective. So any new technology will have both positive and negative aspects. So what is important for all of us is to ensure that the ethical practices are taken care of. I repeat, as I said, you're all professionals. That is why it is called Professional Development Program. So you could just say that, well, I'm aware of this. But what is important is that you develop your skills further, hone the skills, which will have very impactful result on your, professional development. So this program has been designed to provide participants with insights into contemporary developments in education, research, innovation, IPR, data analysis, GIS, entrepreneurship, sustainability, and AI enabled learning. So, as I said, any emerging technology which will come up with lot of ideas, lot of innovative perspectives, that has to be dealt with holistically to understand both the positive and the negatives and how we can ensure that only positives are taken up. So we've had expert lectures and interactive discussions lined up. The program aims to serve as a platform for learning, collaboration, intellectual exchange, inspiring all of us to explore new possibilities for transforming education and research in meaningful and impactful ways. Over the next 5 days, we will have the opportunity to engage with eminent experts from academia, industry, government, and research organization who will share their experience and expertise. I must add here that the organizers have put in a lot of effort to bring in a lot of diversity because the professional development program is open to all various disciplines and which is where they can have the takeaways from that. So I encourage all the participants to actively engage in the sessions, ask questions, exchange ideas, and make the most of this learning opportunity. Wish you all a very productive and enriching experience throughout the program. And my very, great appreciation for Professor Rumi Dev, Dr. Sumed, Dr. Tarun, Dr. Prabhanur, and of course, without Dr. Sagina's, you could say, hand holding, it would not have been possible. So thank you all so much and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for presenting the vision and objectives of the program and outlining the exciting academic journey ahead. Now, as we move forward, I would like to mention that Dr. Shweta Khurana was joining as a keynote speaker today, but due to some unforeseen circumstances, he is not able to join today. So we will continue with the first speaker of the day, Dr. Anindita Sarkar Chaudhary. Dr. Anindita is assistant professor and courses at the University of Uttar Pradesh. She is a geographer specializing in the application of remote sensing, GIS, and environmental modeling based on the impacts of urbanization on groundwater resources, talents, and climate induced vulnerabilities. She was previously taught at the School of Advanced Studies, Indian College for Women, and other institutions. Also, on closure projects connected with the archaeology, climate adaptation, geospatial analysis, and environmental sustainability, with a strong focus on urban and regional challenges. Now, I invite Dr. Anindita to please continue the deliberation and please give a talk.
Large file नाम is it good? हाँ it's like मैं जा क्यों नहीं रहा ये देखो मैं send your file as image or remove in line images. Should I get on it in a PDF कर लेती हूँ मैं ऐसा ना शायद उसमें ज़्यादा हो जाएगा. हाँ वो कर लेते हैं ना हाँ वो ज़्यादा better है. नहीं नहीं I can join the online meeting then I can share my screen. तो वो तो आप उधर बैठ के कर लियो कोई वही तो नहीं जा रहा शेयर ही तो
There is a small technical glitch. Please be with us. It will be resolved in 5 minutes.
we can use GIS for the research technology in both as a physical geographer and as a human geographer or as a social science scientist. So how we incorporate all the quantitative and qualitative data into a GIS platform. So these are the types of data we generally use in our social sciences. That is the empirical research and non-empirical research, where we prove something and somewhere we record the information from the other people. So we have quantitative, which we go on the database, and the qualitative, which are the emotions or some experiences. We all record various kinds of data. Then we have a mixed method, that where you have a primary source of data and then you have a your some secondary source of data. So how we mix these two kinds of data over one platform to get a comparative study over a historical time period to the present. So this is beyond moving a pure theory. So what we do is an abstract theory, that we learn text, we derive the theories and we apply it to our normal life, or we check how a trend is over a region. And then we connect it to a space, because every event occurs in a space or at a particular area, that a place and the space concept involved with that particular GIS, where you define your location on the basis of coordinates. Then what's the mechanism we basically use in geographical information? So geographic is the word is not only about the hills and the mountains or the rivers, it's about a space which is your designated area. Everyone who is occupying this whole room has its own coordinates according to the GIS. The whole GIS records the data in the formation of grid, that is X and Y coordinate, over the graph how you have plotted each and every point. So everybody get included in this particular study. So that is the geographic data collection, how you are collecting each and every one, that today how you are tagging itself. So that is a part of data you are creating in your day-to-day life. That how you organize this whole data into a spatial organization, and with the lens of the GIS, how you can make a intelligent decision keeping each and every parameter in your mind when it is in a form of map or a graph. So what is the extraordinary amalgamation we have with the social science and the GIS? It's that where the theory meets the spatial application to man and human experience. So when you record the experience that has occurred in a place and you relate that space and its history with that particular event. So sphere of application, where we can apply that particular research in every kind of social researches, from the philosophy to history to sociology to everywhere. It's the human sphere and the physical. The human get settled where the physical place is, give them some kind of opportunity to settle there. So it's connecting human lives in a society. So you create a society where you get a stability. The first settlement, the first society created on the basis of a physical feature, that is river. And from that, you connect all kind of events with that particular river, with the climate change, or how the Harappan civilization have been vanished, what was their trade, everything you can learn from mapping it from the origin to the destination. So historical and present social political elements can you add to that particular event, mapping the social pattern over the time, and how the resource being scarcity to a development of a psychology of human being to go out of that region or to come to some kind of region. Now, scaling alongside the human sphere. If initially we have a very straightforward society that, okay, 10 people are there or 20 people are there, but with the time and to the contemporary world, the layers have changed. The society have changed. There are a lot of opportunities came in. Some opportunities have gone with the resources. So we keep on mapping everything which vanishes and which can come, and even what is there and how they can impact our future. So these three process can be taken into one platform, that is GIS. What is this problem solving reality with the challenge? So it is a social data, how authentic data. It's a GIS, it means geographical information system. If you provide that system with a authentic information, it will provide you a authentic mapping or a future prediction. That is the social data, how diligently you are, you are getting that data. Then the physical limits, why some regions are still difficult to tame, and the historical context, that how people have been there and why they have abandoned that particular region. So you can amalgamate all these three in one platform to find a real-time solution and how you can plan it for your future. What is the fundamental of geospatial mapping? So all data has its its limitations and benefits. So all softwares has its limitation and their benefits. So this is one system based data which has its own language to learn your data. So your data basically has to be in two formats, either in a raster, either in a vector. Sure. Okay. So the raster, there's a lot more. Can you continue with the slow space, right? Okay. So I'll get back you in a few minutes. Somebody is joining over the platform. Okay, sorry. So Honorable BC ma'am is joining to the platform.
So we are request to have among us the Visionary Leader of the University. May I now respectfully invite Professor Shukla. So, a brilliant academician, a vivid researcher, and a far-sighted visionary, 5+ years of experience. Mr. Shukla has insights, humility, and leadership skills. She is MTech from IIT Kharagpur and PhD from University of April. She has 3 years of research experience in industry, academia, research, and administration. Currently, ma'am is also a professor of entrepreneurship, leadership, and IT, and most importantly, a vice chancellor of Amity University, Uttar Pradesh. Prior to this, ma'am held numerous positions during 27+ years association with Amity. She has been one of the key team members, instrumental in the exponential growth of Amity's higher education. She is the key architect of unique flexi framework for a choice-based credit system and outcome-based education. She is instrumental in aligning the learning outcomes and operational outcomes with strategic plans of the university. She has guided several PhDs, MPhil scholars, produced many research papers in national and international peer-reviewed index journals, authored books, course materials, etc., and developed a unique accelerator model for promoting and ensuring incubator excellence. Now, please, I request all of you to invite our honorable vice chancellor, ma'am, to go on. Over to ma'am, please. A very good morning, ma'am.
Very good morning. My very esteemed colleagues, Dr. Nirupama Prakash, Dr. Romi Dev, and Dr. Khatri, and all the participants for the 5 days hybrid professional development program on transforming education and research through emerging technologies. First of all, I would like to congratulate the organizing team for planning this workshop. As we know, the emerging technologies are playing very important role in shaping the not only the education landscape, but it is also impacting the all aspects of education, research, and industry, and to the extent it also is impacting the personal lives. And as we know that the education has evolved alongside major technological revolutions, invention of writing transformed the transmission of knowledge. The printing press democratized the learning of the internet, connected the classrooms and library across continents, Today we stand at the threshold of another profound transformation driven by the artificial intelligence, big data analytics, virtual and augmented reality, digital humanities, and advanced research technologies. And all these developments are not merely changing the tools we use, they are fundamentally redefining the way knowledge is generated, shared, and applied in various domains. These educators, researchers, and academic leaders, we have a collective responsibility to understand these transformations and harness them thoughtfully. And I remember when the COVID pandemic started, uh, the we all were confined to our houses due to the lockdown, and within 24 hours, the physical education moved to the remote mode of teaching learning, and we were all learning, whether it's the faculty or whether the students were learning how to conduct the classes or MS Teams. And the first time we have seen the power of MS Office, and in the MS Office, the MS Teams, that how the we can be sitting remotely at various locations, but still we can be connected with each other and transact our all the communication, all the meetings, as well as we can conduct the classes, conduct the examinations, conduct the viva, so many things. And that time, the first time we have seen the big power of technology. And since then, many times, even now, like for example, this faculty development program, some of us are um, present, um, the remotely, and we are, conducting the sessions. Some are present, all of you are present in the classroom. So same with a lot of other technology, you all know that while we were reviewing our curriculum, we brought the artificial intelligence as integral part of the education for all the programs. And today, even the data analytics has become the integral part of the almost all the programs. So therefore, the technologies are very important today. When we were having the job fair for the final year students, so while interacting with the industry people, so many of the industry persons have said that they would like to have the students uh, who also have the understanding of data analytics, the artificial intelligence, and whether the students are from the psychology or whether the students are from the sociology or whether the students are from forensic science or from the biosciences or other disciplines. So therefore, the AI and data analytics has become important. Today, the technologies like quantum technologies, semiconductor technologies, as they are emerging, and we have seen that in recent, especially in the last 1 year, the all the research opportunities which are coming. So many of the research opportunities are interdisciplinary research opportunities. Say the where the PI will be from the humanities or social sciences, or management, where the co-PI can be from the engineering, science, biosciences disciplines, in a way that the application of science in the arts, humanities, social sciences. So therefore, it's very important this faculty development, mm, transforming education and research through the emerging technologies. So therefore, interdisciplinary research, interdisciplinary education is very important. And recently, job fair was, and sorry, education fair was organized, which was the boundless fair, where the all the HOIs, the deans, the academic office have worked very hard to offer the, especially the under the National Education Policy 2020, that under the 4 year program, how the student can opt along with the single major as a minor, or the student can opt for the double major. So there's more than 80 disciplines offers have been given where the student can choose either the single major, so the minor, or can choose the second major from discipline. And during the boundless fairs, I've seen the large number of students opting from the altogether different discipline. And for example, we see many of the students of the psychology, they wanted to go and do the neuroscience, or the students were from the forensic science, they want to go and do the psychology. And looking at this interest, we have come up with the forensic psychology as a interdisciplinary program, looking at the diverse interests of the students. We also have introduced this year the cognitive science, which is the combination, the confluence of five disciplines into the cognitive science. So therefore, having this workshop will help us how the emerging technologies, the disciplines are impacting the education, and what is the future to solve the societal problems or the industry problems. Very important that we approach with the interdisciplinary mindset, and how we can bring the science into humanities and social sciences, and how we understand the social or the humanities or arts matters from the scientific point of view. So therefore the so challenge before us is not only the simply how to adopt the technology, but integrating it effectively into our education system is extremely important. We must ensure that the technological advancements are accompanied by the critical thinking, ethical reflection, critical creativity, and the human values. The future classroom must remain a space where curiosity is nurtured, dialogue is encouraged, and the learners are empowered to become responsible global citizens. However, as we embrace these technologies like artificial intelligence or the decision science or others, we must also remain mindful of the ethical dimensions of technological innovations. Questions relating to the privacy, algorithmic biases, data security, academic integrity, and equitable access demands our attention. The true measures of the technological progress lies not merely in its sophistication, but its also ability to promote human well-being, inclusivity, and social justice. We must cultivate learners who are not only technologically competent but also ethically conscious, socially responsible, and globally aware. Amity University is such an innovation-driven institution where we always encourage and nurture ideas and vision. This vision draws continuous inspiration from our Honorable Founder President, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhanji, whose emphasis on value-based education, and from our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. Atul Chauhanji, whose leadership has steered Amity towards global excellence in research and technological integrations, and where the motto is the student success and changing the world to make the world a better place to live. Once again, my congratulations to all the organizing team members of Amity Institute of Social Sciences and team from the Amity Academic Staff College for their dedication and efforts in organizing this important academic initiative under the leadership of Dr. Nirmala Prakash. And I'm sure such programs strengthen our collective commitment to academic excellence and professional growth. I wish all the participants a very productive, engaging, and inspiring learning experience over the next 5 days. And I understand from Dr. Sakina Huda that large number of faculty development programs have been planned in the month of June, so that we can use this summer break in a more productive manner while the faculty are busy in the annual planning and evaluation and other many things. With this, I wish all the best and have a great learning. Thank you. 58.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your inspiring guidance and unwavering commitment to academic advancement and societal impact. Now, I request Dr. Anindita to please continue with the talk.
GIS is that geographic information system. So it's about the information. The geographic is about the place, and the information is whatever you want to give that particular system your information, whether it's your historical data, your emotional data, or a data from a uh, social variables. So, and the system is that where you are running your software. So amalgamation of that geographic, that a place event and the information, it creates layers of information, and you can analyze all the layers of information at one point. So you have to convert your data, whatever you have collected from the person to person. Either it's a point data, like every human being has a coordinate, or some village data or some space data. So we have to convert that whole data into a point, line, and polygon. And the raster data is one which we acquire in form of photographs or a map, something which is from a very primitive time. So those we convert into one platform and use for its planning. So this is how we create the information layer by layer, and we use it to show that how the hotspots has been created, that what the regions require more attention and what are the regions which need the least demand for the attention. So next is, so how we deal with that whole chaos of data. So we all put into a database management system, and then we process the data to acquire the streamlined knowledge. That's a spatial mapping connects location and the real world decision making. With the strategic clarity, maps help to identify the pattern, the gaps, the priorities, and the invisible standards in that particular data set which you collected from the ground. And we streamlined it with a software and analyze and compare where we need to focus more. So the types of data is again the vector and raster, how we decide is the main road or the schools or the hospitals available where, and what is the high density of the population as a map, and then the land use and how the settlements are there over the land use. So this is the coordinate reference system. Why? What is the coordinate reference system? It's the geotagging or the whole reference that from the sun or from the core of the earth we are referring somewhere. Like you locate your on your mobile that the delivery boy how far it is, or where you located and where you want to go, how long it is going to take. So these all are depend upon your reference system from a point you are referred, and how that point is far away from the reference point. So the point when comes it to close to you, the distance reduces. So on this coordinate reference system, the whole your apps, your apps or your this Google Earth, that's whole are running on. So the reference system is important to give them one coordinate system that you can overlay each data over one on the other. So then you create a density of the layers and then you analyze it. So it's like the raw data you process through a system, and then you get a visual communication through the enhancement with the GIS. So the spatial data turn in a social science. That's a dual nature of GIS data. That's a spatial and the non-spatial. Non-spatial, what you are collecting from the field. Spatial is your reference data. So methodology, if you follow through the whole software basis, then it will give you the evaluative one, then historical data, then you can compare the data, why the situation is bad, why earlier it was good, then you can explain why, and then you can explore what are the other possibilities, then you can analyze that whether your perception, what you hypothesis we have taken before study was correct or not. You can analyze on that basis, and then you can describe the situation. Then traditional data paradigms in your social research, we have the numerical data, which we collect from the field. Then we have the experiential data or the qualitative data. The mixed method can be applied through the GIS through the data format with the raster and the vector. So this is the issue, like whether education, the medical, or the finances, or a development, or a coal field has just discovered it at some place. So how the mobilization of people will be there. So you can integrate that particular information into the mix and the qualitative and quantitative data, and you can execute through the geospatial. You can analyze that how much people that land can afford, and if the people are more, then how the resources going to be get affected. If at point that particular coal mine collapses, what will be the impact over the environment and over the social. So this is the ecosystem which we generally work on, that is a data entry, then map creation, layer management, spatial analysis, how we measure that spatial analysis, that what the extent of the particular phenomena or how it is going to reflect in that particular area. So then we classify zone wise, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, then we visualize the data, and then we make decisions over the maps. So what is the activating the eye in the GIS, that what kind of information you want to put in that particular map, and it will create the informative map for you. The spatial conversation, this is a database management, that is attribute data. Attribute data is like there is a population. Unless until you are saying it is an Haryana population or a Delhi population, it remains an attribute data. But when you add the spatial anchor that it is a population of Delhi, it gives the space value to that particular population. So then you create on the basis of this layers with the geographic information, geocode digitization. If you don't have the information, you can digitize it electronically in your system. Then you can add the attribute, that is the information collected from your field, the primary data, and the secondary data, that is a mixed one, that is the data joining. And you can do a survey and you can clarify that whatever the data you have collected, that is geotagged, and then interpretation can be done. So this is the methodology. This is geocoding, digitization, and the data joining, how the administrative map or a particular region, or the region could be agricultural zones, regions could be the physical zones, region could be your income-wise zones. So how you want to analyze the data, that depends what the theme you have created. So these are some open platforms for the digital data, that is OpenStreetMap, Natural Earth, and Bhuvan. They give your free of cost data, that where you can download the data and you can process in your softwares. And this is the engine you need to create, you need to edit, and you need to analyze, and you can publish your data on this basis. Then it's a zero cost GIS architect, because most of the platforms are free and you can use it and from anywhere. So the free softwares available is QGIS, GrassGIS, Saga GIS, the GVGIS, and Whitebox Geodata. These are the softwares. So they don't provide you the data. These are the processing units. You need to download the data from USGIS or your Bhuvan or from the E3 sites. But these are the softwares where you can process your data. These are some maps for your reference, like we have done that's a drug addiction in district wise with the Punjab, that these are the information in the below is the population, and the over the pie we can show the age groups that which are the more affected by them, and this the severity, that what is the number of cases. So this is the spatial information which gives you at one go which districts has a more amount of cases. Then this is the data of the East Delhi, how the population anxiety and depression cases are there, how they have been reported. So which is the one district which is the high anxiety or the depression, and how you need to approach your resource to that particular district. That's one kind of social data. Then this is a sandwich generation in Mumbai. It's a data that the how this 80 after 80 born people are now stuck with the young generation. They are their technology, and the old people from they don't know the technology. It's like more on like how you are ordering over a blanket or somewhere, that you need to make them understand that how feasible it is making your life, and the next generation how complicated it is, that you have to go for a minimum order there. So this is one of the society which the Bombay has facing right now, because there are the aged people is also there, and the younger generation is there who are try to developing with the technology. So these are some maps which gives you an overview at one present. That's all for my presentation now. Thank you.
Now, I would request the audiences, if you have any questions, also the online audiences, right? You can one by one write your questions. or you can, choose to ask, right? But again, one by one. Raise your hand. Any questions, guys? Offline or online? Yeah, please.
Thank you for the informative session. I just had one question. Can you give us an example of how GIS may be used in a qualitative analysis?
So first, like the qualitative data, like you say, ki some development is occurring at one place. So you ask that person ki whether the development is going to help them or not. Either that a question, or if something like a change of place with the development, like some mall has come up. Okay, now how the livelihood has changes that from that place. So you collect the information on a quantitative with a questionnaire. So and you have to mark that 1, 2, 3, 4. How many people have said you yes and how many people have said you no? Okay, or there might be have boxes for 5 or 6 options. So you have to create a quantitative data out of that qualitative data, or you can geotag that person that you have collected information for this person and you record that data, so you can map it with a geotag that okay, there the persons few 10% or 15% have said the similar thing, and this region is vulnerable to the livelihood, or some development has come up and it has really contributed to their development. So that's how you need to refer it to the coordinate system, and you have to stick it to a map that this is the region whether you have collected the data, and this is what happening, or the this is the answer for that particular region, whatever you have asked.
Thank you.
Any other question? Now, can I ask one question, please?
Please.
Now, particularly when we see GIS, I'm from Department of Anthropology, so we have a major branch of anthropology called as archaeological anthropology. So it is a technology which is much more required in that particular field. So specifically, can you suggest for excavation and for other type of, for example, we have rock shelters, and we have all those prehistoric caves and all. How this GIS data can help in preserving and making that particular site which can be visible online, or maybe we can make some sort of digital library for all of those kind of things.
There
Can you please elaborate on this?
interactive GIS in that field, and it is majorly on the web mapping. Okay, so this is the part of a digital geography which we create a platform where we can just locate a map and give them that particular coordinate. That if you click that coordinate, you get the information, the photographs, the information, what kind of remnants you have got there. So you can upload that data. That becomes an interactive GIS. That how many times you are going to that site and how many clicks you are doing, and with the click, what information you are getting.
So that is with the GIS that you work behind with the software, then you upload it over the internet. So that is a web GIS with an interactive. Like all the COVID maps are generated in a similar manner. Like you have to create a boundary that people should not migrate from one district to another district because the cases are high. So every day cases are uploaded, and that is the data is generated over the internet. So it becomes interactive. The how many times you are putting that click over there, it is adding that data. Okay, now the cases have been increased or the reduced, so block should be there. So that's how the web GIS is created for the archaeologists. So now you can also study that if some site like Harappan societies were there, so how they have due to the climate change. So we have records of that society. So how they have finished. I mean, how what is the reason behind that? If there is any flood, so we can also excavate the alluvial soil from there. Then we can say what is the age of that particular soil deposition. So what is the length? So you can upload all the data of that, but make the layers of each data, and you can analyze that in 50 years this disaster has came up. So what is the next cycle? With the statistical analysis, you can say what is the next cycle and which are the other society sites they can get impacted. Or even I think the AIDS maps are there already. So what is the hospital? What is accessibility to the beds there? So whether the doctor is available, for how long it is available. So everything you can upload over there. So we also done in our graduation data analysis for dengue and malaria. So we take the Delhi wards and we have mapped all the drains and the open drains also. So it is written there that this is an open drain, so vulnerable to the dengue, and in the season of that, where there is water or not. So you can upload it on the real time basis. You go to the site, you geotag that drain, and you can upload that data. So that's how these days drones are also working. So this is the way we can update ourselves with the technology, and we can create data for the next generation.
Exactly. The question is maybe what are the other? Can you please elaborate on what are the other technologies, geographical technologies? Because when you talk about social data, or especially about community resource, hospitals, schools, colleges, all of those kind of things.
Everything has a location, and when you are referring to a location, it has a coordinate. So over the Google map, when you reach to some place, it shows you that this is the correct place, or the icon arrives. So that is the latitude and the longitude location. Basically, it's a number.
If
So
this type of training can be provided, no? Because we are doing this professional development program, especially for example, researcher, social scientist is doing that PRA, participatory rural appraisal. So identifying different resources and then tagging them along the side.
site,
Yeah.
you can go to that place, you geotag that information, you tabulate it within Excel, you have the coordinates X and Y. As it is, you can upload it over your software as an XY coordinate data. So it will record all the whole Excel at one point. At one click, it will join. So that yes, it can identify the population.
I think it will be really very helpful because we have, in the further days to come, we have more sessions on GIS, and we are having, GIS, AI, the application social sciences specifically, right? Thank you so much.
Today's AI is that
for
one
the answer.
said, because few maps you can create with an AI. If you are telling that AI, this is my reference map, create a map, this is the data, that's one process. You can tell that without knowing the software. You can tell that AI that create a map for me. So AI creates maps, but the yeah.
They create atlas.
Atlas, yeah.
How do they do that?
Okay, ma'am, this is in my system. I can show you. This is okay. This is a QGIS. So it is the whole major, like in 2000, there was no vector files available for India. But with the program with the GIS, geospatial data, most of the Indian states and districts have been digitized. So it is the data for the location is available freely. So you can download that data. You can create thematic maps that this is the population, how many hospitals for this particular disease is available, and what is the frequency of visiting that population is visiting that particular hospital, and how many cases are there. The same studies are there over the Delhi with the respiratory system, that how Delhi becomes the capital of respiratory problem. So that has been also mapped through GIS. That atlas has been created. What is the pollution condition each district of Delhi? What is the population and what is the age group of each population? So like I have shown you in the last slide that we have these layers. So these layers, So you can create an information on the basis of this. If this is the population, okay. So share.
Because I just wanted to ask you, Dr. Anindita, like they create population atlas, right? And sometimes it so happens like you have the indigenous population data also. So how will
You can upload it.
you can upload it?
That is editable, ma'am.
And how can but how can we create it?
Um, I need to tell you, this is a software, okay? I think this also.
Because these days, like the atlas issues are very.
Screen?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Nahin, not this one. Okay, this is the project. So this is software, that is QGIS. Okay. So here, this is my student who has created a map of Bihar. Okay. So we create our own maps, we digitize it. Okay. And let's see this thing. So we can add. Okay. So this is a layer. First is that you need to have a raster data or photograph of your region, which you need to georefer it. So raster image can be added. I really don't have data on this. So there you can
You can
add.
just tell us, yeah.
Okay, you can add a map here
Hmm.
or how to show it. As without showing it, it's not possible. Can I share this? Would I have the form?
If you have joined from here, you can
Share this. It's not. मैं इसको कर रही हूँ.
stop sharing from that one.
Yeah, I'm.
I think we can discuss it later, maybe if you have difficulty now.
Time. It is about raster and vector. You upload the photograph, you georefer it, it will create the data for you, raster and vector. Then you add the attribute data for that particular region, that this is the population of that region.
But I think every development program that is being run, right? For example, we have aspirational district program, aspirational block program. So whatever the tangible changes or development which are happening,
Can change. You can add a column, the 2012, this is the
Yeah.
population, then 2014, this is the population. So you can continue.
So you can understand the trend also.
You can understand the trend also. Even you can predict another statistical analysis with any projected analysis is there within the software. It is there, so you can analyze it through this is the trend for the 5 years. What would be the next for the 10 years? So that you can also.
For example, along some time in happening. So in that case, what happens? They track the data and regularly on a daily basis, the DCP of each district of Delhi, they are tracking. Okay, these are the hotspots, and then they send the police or PCR or they try to change the landscape of that area. So this type of data is also utilized within this. For example, in my cases, in my PhD, I was I was looking at the hotspots of Delhi, which are highly crime prone. So we have to look at the data. Then I have created the map of Delhi. Then I have taken the data from police stations and uploaded that. That is the attribute. And then we can see which are the hotspot areas. Then through your ground survey, you can identify what are the reasons why these are the hotspots, and you can analyze that. So all these things. Yes.
is it the real time data?
Yes, that both data are there, like yearly or also like daily routine wise data that can be done. So all these things can be done through the GIS in social sciences or qualitative, whatever.
With all the fields there, so with every field the data.
Yeah, even the social demography, their education, everything is left time. We can see how they're progressing.
The district wise, even if you have your own demarcation that you can do and they came to the GIS, that is GPS, that you demarcate your area. So this is my study area and I want the regions within that. So you survey that region, you mark it within the GPS and you can upload that data. This is my study area and this is the decision I have taken. That you can.
Even the resources which are available, for example, the tribal group is here somewhere, then you can identify which are the nearest persons are there, and then you can club all those data and can help the tribal system. That these are the locations, these are the areas, you can get resources.
And if there is any drawback, you can also come up.
Absolutely.
Yes, you can edit. It's always there. It's always there.
Any other question? Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Anindita, for this enlightening session. So now we shall break now for tea and networking. Participants are requested to reassemble at 12 noon. Next technical session. Thank you.
They can get to familiar with the Kyoto background.
Affiliated with the Center for Studies in Science Policy at Jawaharlal Nehru University as professor, with more than 30 years of remarkable academic uh, research and policy experience. He has made pioneering contribution to the areas of scientometrics, innovation studies, science policy, emerging technologies, and intellectual property rights. His work has been presented at several prestigious international forums, including the United Nations General Assembly, Science Summit, Geneva Forum, Global Ministerial Forum, and Globalix conferences. Once again, I want all of you to please invite Dr. Sujit Bhattacharya with a round of applause. Over to you, sir.
Thank you for, I hope you are able to hear me. Thank you for the warm invitation, and I thank Dr. Rumi Dev, who personally was coordinating this whole event, and she was inviting me. I look forward to an interesting session with you all. And so let me first try to do that, try to upload the file, the PPT for you. One thing, technical issues, I'll just try to sort it out.
So we can see your screen. Just try to open your PPT. So your screen is visible. You can just share your PPT now. Just start showing your PPT.
Yes, sir. No, no, no. From the desktop, take PPT. Slides.
It's visible, sir. Please,
Is
please.
visible?
Yes.
Okay, does it look good now? Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, sir. ठीक है. Right.
ठीक है? Oh, okay. So you see that the title itself tries to tell what I am trying to do, and let me try to take you through that. To the extent possible, I will try to be simple. It is always a challenge to be online, and so some of the what you call the interaction one misses. But I hope at any point of time, possibly in the end, we can have some of the questions and all. That will be interesting. So primarily, I would like to say that in simple language, when you talk of research a conundrum, it will say confusing or a difficult problem that has no easy or clear answers. Actually, it becomes a difficult problem when we look at research as a conundrum if we don't follow the discipline of research, in the sense that how we go through that. Are we asking the right question? Are we doing research the right way? What happens when things go wrong deliberately, and all these things? So the research becomes a conundrum. So the pathway which I am trying to build, which many of you are all accomplished researchers and many young students, I will just, many would be also things which you are doing in your own way, in a proper way. But it is always good to again reflect back and go through that, what you call the key nuances of things that we do, so that we don't fall into that, what you call a going to the end of doing a hard end of research for a quite number of years, and then you realize that the research has gone into a wrong path altogether, because the fundamental attributes which we have not really taken care of. So it is a so that is where I am trying to place my lecture today for you all. The session roadmap goes like that, but I will also see that I take your time, and it is not about finishing all those things, but more important that I can convey what I wanted to intend to do. So I would say that this is an important way by which I am looking at this whole session. The the most common reason research fail, what I feel, is that not poor methods. It is a poorly formulated problem in itself. And that is not my statement, unique statement in a sense. This comes from the various studies. When you do that and you find that is a poorly formulated problem, research problem, purposes and questions, the theoretical orientation which you have. So actually that is the very important point itself when you start looking at the literature review, and then you look at the literature review rigorously. So here is this point, is that you don't start the literature review just like that. You also have a theoretical orientation, and they link with each other. It is not that I do the research problem, purpose and questions, and I come back and do the literature review. So at, they feed back to each other to make a strong, what you call, your research problem. But they also feed back from the other aspects also. Designing the conceptual framework, map the key concepts, variables, and relationship the study intends to examine, gives direction to the methodology. So once you see that methodology is what is the method, why we are using a certain method, what is my orientation for doing a certain method, what guides me for doing that certain method, taking a certain method. I have put mixed method research because you have put it across in your what you call in this program as mixed method research. So I said that I will also try to speak a few lines on that. But why, when, and why we should do it. So all these are guided in a sense, and I thought that maybe if the time permits, I will try to look at what really the misconduct and rectification that it all is leading, which is happening more and more. It was already there, but with the new AI and all, it gives a new challenge of this whole misconduct in itself. That you are hallucinating the citations, you are trying to be too good in a sense, which then which really makes you difficult to see that what actually you are trying to say. One can easily spot it out. Being an editor in chief of a journal which I had founded, and it is quite well positioned. Many of you from Amrita University has also submitted papers. Some have been accepted. Some we had to, because it's a very rigorous desk review and then double blind review process. So these also comes from my own practice of doing things in a sense, not only for my journal but any of the review processes where I am involved. And I see that even if it's a paper is a good paper, it seems promising, but there are many factual errors that actually takes away a paper. And that is not only from the young researchers, it is also from very accomplished researchers. Sometimes we have a blind review process, but sometimes I try to see that, go and see that the as a sample that who are really there, whose papers have been rejected or accepted. And it is shockingly that, and to a sad fact also, that most of the papers, because we don't give any identifier tag of any of the country and all that, are from India. So it's the pressure to publish or something is happening, which is actually leading to all these things. Or and maybe there's a whole point of not really diving deep to understand the nuances of the research in itself. So with that, I've taken this from UNIS and a paper, a Journal of Mixed Method Research, and gives a very interesting insights into this. But on the other hand, you can always look at Macmillan, Maxwell's work and all, and you can find that this, these are uh, these are some of the attributes which one says that about what a research problem should be. Is a focused area or phenomena to be studied that allows researchers to narrow the scope of research. So, when you are looking at this huge volume of research, or you have your own intuitive hindsight, you have own heuristics where you are trying to find that is this the problem which needs to be solved? This is the problem where I am finding from my, if as a researcher, I am finding from my whole literature review and other studies that this is a problem which has not been really been solved, or there can be alternative pathways to look at it, or you can just connect it to say this the problems at hand, that the pollution which we are trying to see, which is coming every year in our own country, in the local context, and also what are the type of things which we might be missing, can which we are not able to actually mitigate this solution. And it also, some of our papers were also in this direction, looking at the tailpipe emissions, which are very well accepted across also. So you see that you start with a challenging problem, and the purpose becomes a statement relating to the research problem to delineate the intention of the study. So you going step by step in a sense. Research questions are interrogative statement used to express the specific issues to be exploited pertaining to the research problem. And you should have a rationale why you are doing it. What is the justification for doing it? Why we are doing a study? Some studies are very might be looks very good, but there is no really justification for why I am doing it. And not only for research, it is also for, as you have very kindly said, that I have been working into the innovation, startups, and all that. And that actually is there also, that why I will take up a certain challenging problem to solve, and why uh, are there are the issues or pathways are there. They are devised for practice, literature reviews, research purpose originate from the research problem itself, research question derived from the research purpose. So they all interlink to each other. Scope, one has to be very, what you call, that is where the researcher experiences also comes, because you don't want to put everything in together. Try to solve too many things. Yours should be a focused, which can actually really point out to, or that going into the depth is more important than become taking so many issues together. So that are all things that guides you, and how it guides you is all where I will also try to come to that. So then there can be various types of research problems, various types of approaches, various type of research questions, and various rationales that you put in. So, so, so this is one of the, what you call, a very, I think, a good paper which was there among the many papers by Eunice, which I tried to put across that what is this mixed method research. They wanted to do that. So they have also given a very good example of research problem. Educators are finding it difficult to adjust to an online teaching and learning environment. As you know, as I was saying, for me also it is, for everyone, it has its own way of actually interacting, engaging with the online media. It affects students' engagement and learning. Better approaches are needed to help educators adjust to online teaching and learning. So, what is the research purpose? To explore the barriers and facilitators of education in adjusting to an online teaching and learning environment. To design and test approaches to enhance educators' ability to adjust to online teaching and learning. To describe the impact of educators' inability to adjust to an online teaching and learning environment on students' engagement and learning. So we have these research purposes which gets consolidated through your own understanding of the research problem. It is not only literature review alone, but also interacting, also looking into that experiential learning in itself, talking, engaging, and various other modes of research in itself, where you are trying to uh, putting your research purpose. So there can be research questions like this. What are educators' barrier and facilitators to adjust to an online teaching and learning environment? What approaches might be useful to enhance educators' ability and adjust to online teaching and learning? What is the impact of educators' inability to adjust to an online teaching and learning environment on students' engagement and learning? It is very strong. Rationale is very strong here. Addressing educators' barrier to adjusting to an online teaching and learning environment has the potential to improve student engagement and learning. So you see that how and this whole research, this what I was trying to say, translates into these four important sub-components, which are very important for you to look at the problem, make it what we call it a disciplined way of looking at things together. So with that, I go to the more other aspects of it, which is very important. Is that first part which I have said that, as you can see that I was always trying said literature. So in a sense, you will be bit confused also why I said the theoretical orientation. Because if you don't have a theoretical orientation, if you don't know a broader insights of your subject, you will not know what type of literature to review at all. So, so a basic theoretical orientation is very important. That theoretical orientation comes from your own discipline, from the sub-discipline which you are there, your own what you call over the engagement with the research, engagement with the faculty in themselves talking to each other. So the literature review is should not be. What we have seen is that literature review only has a much larger purpose which many miss. It is not only helps frame the research problem and identify gaps. It tells you of the knowledge of new terminologies, keywords, developing search strings. This is very important actually. As you said that scientometrics, I also used in my innovation studies and all to borrow from different fields of research and to understand things. So developing search string, because you know that the databases are the very important first level and goes deep to identify what are the relevant research in itself. So that can be actually a different set of presentations in themselves. Ways of framing a research question. So you are seeing that how they have framed that research question, describing the research or presenting the theory provides you with understanding of existing theory. As you all know, but still I said that thought that there would be some students and all who may be joining or a young researcher. So it is a, so I said that let me read this font and say that is simply if you asked a set of concepts and ideas and a proposed relationship among these. It is a coat closet and it is very nicely explained by Maxwell in this, that you have a at a coat hanger and so you think of data is all scattered around. But if you have a closet where you are hanging your coats or anything, then you know that position that coats or the your pants or your shirts properly. So the theory gives you an idea from that data that how you organize in a sense the data also, so that you can look at this relationship. It helps you in connecting data to your research question, results or conclusions. So in a literature review, people miss out also on that how they have gone into that research results or conclusion, how they have looked at the identification of the validity issues. Issues of various validity issues can come, the reliability issues and has come. How whether they have addressed to that. And as you go that, as if we say that the highly ranked cited papers has its own dynamics where you can't say that everything is very fair, but still when it is very high cited papers, they are having these type of attributes which you can see that they will try to make this, because the reviewer, the whole peer review process will ask them how did you identify and validate these issues and all that. As the general impact factor goes up, generally you expect that these types of uh, the aspects will be asked during the peer review process. So you see a paper in front of you which makes you feel that yes, gives you a good learning in itself. You need to read all these types of information during literature review. I have seen that people, that many of the papers and all, they do not read that literature from the literature review. Can help you develop a justification for your study. So you can see that how X has created a justification for his study. So a related work which you have been doing, and you find that yes, maybe that work was done in North country. I would like to put it into an Indian context. But what they do, how they've justified that study, how they can inform their decision about the methods. For example, here we use mixed method approach. How we do that? Why we do that? Actually, it is not how. It is more important that why we are using this mixed method approach, which I can come and tell you later also a few lines. Can be a source of data for your research in itself. In fact, that is what I have also tried to do many times. That if I see a particular type of data, then I have tried to work on the data with the proper citations and all, and that gives you a different types of, and with seeing that no plagiarism or no fabrication or falsification done. And in a sense, can help you generate a theory, look at the relationship or a conceptual framework, that how the relationship between the different variables can lead or can uh, help you to understand this particular phenomenon. So you need to read all these types of invitation. That is one of the key point which I would like to address here. It is very good also to always to look at a pilot and an exploratory study, pilot study that call it. Design a pilot study to test your ideas or method, explore their implications, or to inductively develop grounded theory, etc. Because we can not only deductive, inductive, that how if we are looking at a more what you call at the say a localized problems or problems which are very important, say I'm trying to see that epidemiological issues that has happened or low birth rates are happening in particular region. So I can in I have some theories and all, but I have to look at the different variables which might be missing across, and from there I can actually help to develop the relationship as a pilot study in itself, and then take it up as a major as a full blown study. Because if I take it as a full blown study in first step itself, it can lead to a large amount of what you call your logistics are involved, your research is involved. So the pilot study grounds me to actually uh, to take it, scaling it up, I say, and sharpen my questionnaire or my semi-structured interviews, etc. It is always good to go through a framework in everything. This is one of the very preferred framework, PRISMA. The framework for conducting and reporting systematic literature reviews ensure that the search process is transparent, reproducible. It gives you that confidence in a thesis, in a paper, and what it does is that it itself can be a paper in itself or a paper work in itself. It is not only, we should not be bothered only about research papers. There are many other different forms, research papers or books. More than that, it is about uh, as a policy researcher, we bring out policy bulletins, we are bringing out digests, we are bringing out. So there are many other ways which you have to see that can be done by looking at from this stage itself. What to search, how to document what you found. So Prisma 2020 protocol gives you all these checklists, specify all sources searched or consulted, databases, registered, website, organization, references, presents the full search strategy for each source. So when you are looking at research, it's always good to say that what actually, so that we say that research has to be reproducible is one of the criteria. So the Prisma guideline gives me that reproducible, what you call trust for the reviewers, for the others. That that I yes, this is or to an innovator, to an innovation or bringing out something for a clinical research. Can it be very different forms in itself, as I was saying, or administrating a particular solution. So you are saying that you have a very strong claim which you are making by this, how you have done and what you have not done. In fact, what we are trying to do that we are trying to look in our recent work of looking at tailpipe emissions. There were a series of work. One of the work was also we were finding that that we are trying to look at how the regulation in a effect. The tailpipe means the from the automobiles emissions, which are the highest source of emission. And we are finding that we are trying to see that what types of regulations have come and whether that regulation influences that type of research or not. Then it was we are missing out something, and then we had a brainstorming session in between and all that, and then we found that we are missing one or two important aspects of it, or these gasoline particulate filters and one or two aspects of the search string which were missing. So we did that pilot study, and we could and do that Prisma and all that, and when we could find that, and that's very important also because when the referees came and they said that can you explain it further, and then we said about that the brainstorming session which we had recorded and why we how we develop that search string in itself. So you see that you should always have your what you call things with you, which you can always produce when you are doing a research. So when I'm the young researchers who are doing a PhD, they should have all these together with them. Every piece of information is very important when you go ahead. So it produces, in a sense, a structured, defensible body of literature. Some of the thing, one thing which we try to do also, we judiciously employ now. The databases are available. Scopus, Web of Science, the dimensions, even if are not accessible, these are all paid. You can also look at many others, OpenLX and all. So I will just say that it you can really do a very good systematic search through that to identify the literature which you want to do. So I just thought that this can be a full lecture and the series of lectures in themselves. But it's felt that I will just, and all of you may be aware of these, must be aware of these, but I just thought for the sake of continuum that to present it like this, that see there not only there are different ways to search this. They search from the topic, search from the from the search from the topic, search from the title, search combining of the search. So what you are trying to do is that you are trying to actually, then when you come doing that, it is a iteration process where has to be cleaned, where the data sets have to be cleaned and all that. So it is a bit of a quite a bit of rigor to make a strong search string. But for literature, you can also guide you to a search string. That is very important, and you can also look at papers which have used this a search string in a particular defined search string. So what it does is that then you can find out in the first cut in itself, which are the top 10% cited papers, for these papers and many other things across that. Then 100 top 100 cited papers. You can look at these leakages among these key papers, that how the papers co-link with each other. So all these are possible within this area of bibliometrics and cytometry. That we very rigorously use also to identify the research papers which are very very relevant to the field. But even if you don't do that much amount of work or that much amount of things are not there with you, at least it is very important to also at least do the first entry point in itself to search these web of science databases or scopus or whatever it is, to identify the key researchers in the field and try to combine in itself to see that how we see the research paper. So you see that I'm just saying that development of the search string, how it takes a long time for the development of the search string, but it becomes very interesting exercise in itself. That how you then start getting those very, 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 very relevant papers, which actually guides you for your research. But also, many people miss out also, and that is actually maximum miss out in India and other. They don't look at the patent databases. And the patent databases are also very important because if you are really going into a new emerging technology, or even if you want to understand that how the technologies are shaped, you can see the prior art which is there in the patent when you go to the next patent. I'm just saying the front page of a US patent, but it is all that there is a prior art which says that this is the what you call the state of art in the field, and the state of art in the field has to be very very properly defined, because that forms and the references which you give are used as that to check that these are the legal claims that you are making, and you are moving ahead from that, and that is where your new novelty of your work comes. So why I am using this to say that not for looking, but for saying that it gives you it gives you a very good idea of it gives you a very good idea of identifying some of the key papers in your field which have strong technological orientation. That we have also tried to look at in a sense that, and you can use the same top site of search string or use a technology classes which are there. So you see that if you do that, that will be very, very unique in itself, that you are identifying paper, research papers, which itself are speaking of a very strong translational efforts. So another part of this, so these are where this front page is there, drawing specification, background. And very actually interesting. When you go and look at the patents and all that, you see that you suddenly you find that the work which you are doing. So that is topic for another session. Generally, it is a 40 minutes when you can speak when the learning goes best. That is what the research says. But anyway, we have a longer time, so I continue further on this. Then the second part becomes the conceptual framework of the study. So you said that first I said the theoretical orientation. Now I am saying the what will be my conceptual. If you don't have a conceptual framework, then what happens is that you don't really know what you are looking for. Say when I am looking at sustainability development goals, I have a conceptual framework of an SDG which tells me that these are the key pillars, these are the sub pillars, and how we are looking at that, how we are framing it. Similarly, when I am looking at the global innovation index or anything, this conceptual frameworks gives you a that what are the pillars, why the system of concepts, assumptions which you have, and theories that supports and inform your research. The main thing is to be studied the key factor, concepts of variables, and the presumed relationship between them. Actually, research is what? Research is primarily, if you someone asks you what research is, I would say they are trying to find out the relationship between the different variables to try to understand a particular phenomenon. So, the conceptual framework, even carefully conducted result can be misaligned if the underlying context of assumption is wrong. If I am assuming that I will only look at 4-year period, but I should be looking at a larger period to understand really the shift. So I have worked very hard for looking at a 4-year period. I'm just saying the time. So your assumption has to be very strong that what are the key concepts which you have learned from that key concept from literature. What are the theories which you find can actually really explain this as aspect of the phenomenon and help you access your goals, develop realistic research questions. So you see, you are again going back in a sense. Identify potential validity straight, and it has to be constructed. And what conceptual framework does is that it is not about choosing a method. It guides you to a methodology. That this is the sometimes the methodology conceptual framework is inside the methodology in itself. So it guides you that why I am using a particular method. So that is where people miss out. They will use a certain set of methods which actually are not really addressing the problem which you have posed. So here it gives you that sort of a guidance, that type of a strength of your research. Should not simply review and summarize some body of theoretical empirical publication. Diversity of sources of key important. You can look at thesis, download from request, state of the art, patent, reference cited, as well as all I was saying, literature review, clear connecting threads of arguments. You can see that X seems to be linked to Y seems to be linked to Z. So what problem there have been with previous research and theory? What contradictions you have found in your in existing view? So actually there are methods by which you can actually see that connect these things together. So conceptual framework is in a sense that is to be constructed in a sense that I'm constructing. So I'm using, say, in my research, I'm using it or I borrow a conceptual framework. I want to know that understand the university industry linkage. So I have a very, very robust conceptual framework which is there of triple helix linkages. It talks of how university, industry, and government they connect to each other, how are the different forms of connection, how these connections shapes with each other, and how different type of intermediary organizations are required or can bridge that network. Because we say that innovation happens, that empirical studies show that innovation happens with strong linkages among these three key stakeholders. So I have a conceptual frameworks of triple helix. Now I have I want to have see that no, it is very important also to have the society, that how the society, because you know that is that new AI as it is coming, it is more human engagement, it is more how you engage with these new devices. It is also important and how the civil society reacts. So you also want to have the triple helix. It's not enough. Then I will. Then there's another helix which people have called is the quadruple helix, where the society, civil society actors also comes in, and then they design these frameworks that how these type of connectivities one can see, and you can. So what I am saying is that having either you construct. We also in our one of our thesis we constructed a conceptual framework, or you have a conceptual framework which guides your methodology and what is the method you use. So with that, I have tried to cover the part 1, part 2, part 3, part of the research. Part 2, part 3, part of research. Now let me come to the part 4. It is a bit heavy, as you know that it would have trying to compress too many things, and I can always pause if you feel. And but I also felt that let me teach, better just draw attention to this, as you will be in the next set of lectures and all that, you will be uh, having more in depth on this on mixed method research. But I also thought that it is important to also talk of two things within it: data triangulation and theoretical triangulation. Why I am saying that? Mixed method, what it tries to do is that combines qualitative and quantitative methods in one study. The two methods are linked and inform each other. Produces a finding neither method could give alone. So that is why that uh, that conceptual framework and methodology guides me in doing that, to go to a mixed method research. Important also is I see that there needs to be not only one source of data, there has to be different sources of data. I need multiple data sources to answer the same question. Sources can vary by type, time, place, or people. Check whether finding from different sources agree. If they agree, finding is stronger. If they disagree, that gap is itself a finding. Or I use two or more theories to interpret the same data. Each theory acts as a different lens on the same finding. Checks whether the different theories lead to the same conclusion. If they agree, conclusion is robust. If they disagree, both may be partially right, needed a richer explanation. So now as the sustainability issues are also coming. So maybe the triple helix and quadruple helix are not enough in themselves. So that is why people have thought about it, and they said that there is a new helix, quadruple helix, where the sustainability issues are also captured in that. So maybe we are missing out something that also can tell us. So you see that this is, let me come and give an example of this. I want to assess India's innovation capacity, data triangulation and mixed method research. Why I take this India's innovation capacity? Because the last 3-4 months we have produced some of very interesting studies with Niti Aayog, pathways to progress, insights into India's innovation story. Then we had this work on ease of doing research, and then we had a survey, and they are widely reported in the newspapers and also in the Niti Aayog website. So we have used these types of things also under behind it. So that is why I am trying to say that we are trying to see that how India's innovation capacity STI ecosystem can be strengthened and how it can link up with the production ecosystem. That was the pathways to progress. And then when we were doing that work with Niti Aayog, we also found that there was a sort of uh, great challenge was that about how not only the administrative barriers, there were also when we were doing these surveys and all that, that there were also a great challenge of people not able that whole process of funding, whole process of scaling up, whole process of there were two part of it. One was the external ecosystem, which was not able to support to that extent desired of the funding or the support system that need to be created, the linkages that need to be created. But there was also a very important point which what we found was that the internal institutional aspect. So we found that many of the institutions which are very strong enabling institutions, they could also overcome many of the external challenges. So they had given them a sort of a cushion that even if the project funding does not come, you have this sort of a funding. They have made uh, they have had people who helped them in created that proposals, following up on those leads and all that. Then they had very strong technology transfer offices where they engaged with this at the very early stage in itself. So all this we have also prompted us to actually look more closely into that. And very good for us also that is not a report or research paper in itself, because many of that work has gone into the high level committee report of the government of India, and many are getting now implemented also because it was presented to the Prime Minister also. So you see that why I said all this, because we have used these types of methods in underlying methods in that while we were going into the surveys and all. We are looking at bibliometrics, map the research output, citation, collaboration networks, and that was a back end study. We are designing the questionnaires to rate innovation support. We are looking at the interviews. We had different consultative workshops and semi-structured interviews also and all that. So you see that we had used these three different data sources to address the same question of assessing India's innovation capacity. One was quantitative, others were qualitative. So in a sense, it was mixed method research in practice. Then we were also trying to understand the pathways to progress. What is that? The different lens, theoretical lens. The triple helix, which I am saying, and the second is the innovation systems. What are the difference between the different sectoral innovation systems across? So you see that, but here, this is not mixed method research. It is the theoretical triangulation. Don't confuse with mixed method research because there are different theories. Mixed method research will only come if there is this, yeah, where we have different forms asking the same question. Now, because we have put all these three together, data triangulation, theoretical triangulation, and together we add this mixed method research. So this is where that the fine line is. This is the part by which I have tried to tell you about that how you can really do means some of the fundamental attributes which I felt that are very important. It is not my ideas alone as a sense. It comes from over reading, over interacting with people, doing research over the years and all that, that these are the things which actually makes your claim much more valid. And as you say that as you go along, as you make your papers and your thesis more speak and make it more relevant to the country and you itself at large. So these types of attributes of your research are very important. So just don't jump into research. Try to evaluate yourself. Try to actually see that how I can move ahead. Too many papers are not good. Too many, but when you have a paper, it has to be have something speak very strong to the audience at large. Another aspect which we are finding very unnerving in a sense, very difficult to capture, and for that also I have been speaking quite often in various forums, and in fact, particularly within our bibliometrics committee, innovation community also, is that, and you are also aware of that, the large number of retractions that are, and it's not only research papers. You have seen that how wrong innovations are claimed and what are the reputational questions, reputational which are built over the years just collapses. And you have seen also that how that retractions of a papers actually really makes a researcher seen in a very poor light and all these things. So what is happening is this whole scientific misconduct which is happening. Misconduct does not mean only this fabrication, falsification, plagiarism. It deviates from the practices commonly accepted in a discipline or in academic research community, generally in proposing, performing, reviewing, and reporting. So the misconducts are has become quite an inherent part of our now challenge of doing research. You can get away. You can get away. Surely people get away. And we have seen some of the best researchers getting away. But at a certain point of time, you get caught into that. And if you get caught into that, then that the reputational damage which you get cannot be actually justified. Cannot be. You can't actually. You are over for that. So it is very important to also look at this, making up a result, recording or reporting, falsification, manipulating research material, equipment, or process of charging or omitting data. Plagiarism is one of the most common. Appropriation of other person's idea, process, results, or words without giving appropriate credit. And it happens. It happens in my journal also. I see, and all this I see that this happens so much. We just wanted to actually see this, just a link from our bibliometrics, drawing from a large amount of research papers, and see that these are so many elements within which that why these type of things are happening: conflict of interest, research integrity, responsible conduct of research. This is a very broad level of looking at it, but there is open access publishing in itself. People are giving money and publishing in that. Editorial policies in itself are getting questioned in a sense. And there was this plagiarism in itself. As you see that there are so many layers within. We're just trying to give some of the layers which we have tried to look at. That what it is happening, that how this whole plagiarism issues are blowing up. And this was very interesting. This was an earlier study, but still relevant in a sense that people have said, and you see that it is not only mid-career or early careers. It is across in a sense that overlooking others' use of flawed data or question and questionable interpretation of the data, changing the design methodology or results of a study in response to pressure from funding source. What we found in a sense, and a back-end watchdog study which we did, will not name for the set of issues which we did, found that large number of image manipulations are happening, and that is that people thought that they can get away. What they were trying to do is that they were trying to say that this is a relationship that exists between the variables. Actually, the relationships are not there. And at the sad part of it that it was in the clinical study. So you see that what happened. That if X say that these are the very strongly related variables to understand that how a cancer somatic cells develops. So the next researcher will follow those variables and try to experiment on that to see that validate that within that context. But in a sense that if you are doing that misconduct in first place in itself, you are guiding this whole research in a wrong direction. So you see what are the dangerous consequences of that. It happens instead, and this is not just I'm saying it has happened in our stem cell research. It has happened in most of the critical research, and that is very, very alarming. There are many, many ways actually. You can that can be another presentations in themselves that how you can look at the scientific misconduct, how you can actually sometimes you are also not aware of that. So it can happen of your non-awareness also, and that is where it is not an excuse. You have to make yourself aware of that. There are COPE guidelines, there are other guidelines. So I would strongly suggest that people should read more and more about how we don't do the scientific misconduct. Image manipulation, which I can say, is that it can lead to these type of things: false positive, false negative. When images change, conclusions are changed, severe consequences in drug development, I was saying. Early stage library finding often guide decisions about advancing compounds to animal studies and clinical trials. Distorted research affects the entire research pathways. So you see that how dangerous it is. So it has to be, it is not external and institutional norms which we see in India are very, very only across a few institutes. And when I'm saying because we have done a very extensive study across in the last report also while doing that research. Around around almost the whole country we covered through over 8 consultative workshops and many interest. So this is something which is really need to be addressed at the institution level itself. There can be a huge reputational damage if not done. Citation verification, text similarity, responsible AI use, image integrity, all this has to be built within that framework of your doing that. So you must choose cross-checking when you are using AI to get the references, whether that reference exists or not. If you have a particular uh, paper which is with the AI interprets, you have to go into the paper and see whether that is a correct integrity or not. So, so there are different from the copyright, which I will not go much. Copyright is in a sense, a legal punishment, but here it is a moral punishment. So, and copyright will end after a certain period, so 70 years or so. But the plagiarism is all the time. It is even if you have many old papers which are not copyrighted, the plagiarism is still there if you are caught. So Creative Commons, you must look at. People just copy from the image and all that. Look at what are the Creative Commons are there, which allows you to do things. And that is what we check also in our journal. How they've used that particular Creative Commons and all. So with that, I end with a few reflections. What is good research? It is difficult to construct a measure for what we call good research is context-driven research. At the discipline level, it can be problem solving, it can be blue sky research, or can be more applied, for example, solving industrial problem. Good science is also one which follows the norms of science. Science, when I am saying, is a broader sense. Science, social science, everything included. These norms referred, as you all know about this, that Martonian norm. What is bad research is improper theoretical conceptual framework, research design, which we are trying to say is huge refractor, only a small portion of the problem. Scientific misconduct in very areas. And Why misconduct happens? Pressure to publish, relying too much of publications, unethical practices, Me Too science, old boys network, everything goes together. At the policy level, indicators that do not rely only on publications. So you have to be imaginative enough. Institutions have to be imaginative enough to design their indicators so that they do not only rely on publications. That you are not, they can, or many other ways of actually judging a merit of a researcher or a merit of faculty. And some of them have started doing that internationally and also on the different frameworks and all that. And it is not good to judge research only on their career through measures like impact factor. Many good institutions changing their assessment process because they want people to go into what you call risky research, want to make them actually not driven by the research paper in itself, because it is what we end up, and that is where the paper which I had put it in the editorial was that when a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. And that is Goddard's law. When your target is not doing research, in a sense, you're trying to publish as much as possible, high impact, but what actually you are solving the problem is not there. And check the Creative Commons, different types. Best thing is that you must enjoy your research, develop good discipline and practice, keep proper record of your work. Don't be afraid to report negative results. Use tools, but tools, use them properly also. If improper use of tools are also very dangerous. Copyright violation can lead to serious trouble, and so do all those. Data privacy, ethical governance, and all these together makes you a good researcher and for everyone. And you must, lastly, I would say that trust is the foundation of scientific, and that is where we all are. We are in that research, knowledge production, and knowledge translation systems, everything. And if you break that trust, everything goes away. So, with that, I would say thank you for the presentation. I will stop sharing.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your invaluable insights into ethical research practices and evolving challenges confronting contemporary scholarship. Now, the floor is open for question and answers. I request offline participants and online participants to please, one by one, put forward your questions.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir. I have a question to Professor Bhattacharya, sir. Myself, Dr. Roshan Lal, Computer Science Engineering Department, MIT University, Noida. Sir, I want to ask to you regarding journal publication, predatory, non-predatory journal, cloning journal, today's scenario. With the same ISBN number, how can we avoid such bad practices in our research integrity? And how can we identify those? This is my concern, sir.
Yes, they are, you are right, they are getting more clever day by day, this predictive journal. But you see, there are ways of doing that. You can go into the actual database of Scopus because they claim that they have an impact factor. They claim that they have in Scopus. So one thing is that which can give you a quick check in itself is that when you go to Scopus, you will find that the journal does not exist. Or you go to the database. So one quick search to start with is to go to the claim which they have made. So invariably they will make a claim and then they get caught into that claim in itself that this is the second would be generally this is the first which we try to do that. Second would be that seeing that that I would not say sometimes the publishers are only there can be many small publishers also, they are very good. But with the publishers who want to dive deep, you can see that the publishers are who are these publishers who are publishing these papers. So generally, that gives a second level of what you call check that that if but that check will only come if you find that if you find that they have not claimed anything, but you seem to find that the research journal looks good. So first, I would say that look at the claims which they have made, and that looking at the claims are through they will invariably make a claim of that where they are indexed, and they will say that impact factor, they will say that 5 year their quartiles deviations are there. If they don't make those claims, but you find that it's a good emerging journal. So, and you don't know that particular journal publisher, you can go then go to the journal, the publisher in itself. What is the type of papers which journals which they are publishing? So that will can give you a good idea of that. That can be, but it is true they are getting very very clever in itself, and in fact, what to say, even the care list which was there had many predictions on it. Many predictions. But now they have been more careful of not making a care list. So even they were also got into a wrong track of saying that you can publish in these journals. But there can be some unique journals, say papers which are very, very not in your field less, but those fields were very, 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 say, talking of the local context and challenges of arsenic in water and all that. They can be very, very good journals also. And they come from different societies, very well established societies, Indian National Science Academy, cultivation of science and all that. And those journals are also very good journals, but they may not be in Scopus or Web of Science. But they, because they have a smaller, what you call, catchment area. And these database, they work on a larger citations and all. So even our economic and political news is a very, very good job. But generally, you will not find it in Scopus. It is not in Scopus or the Webs. But it's coming from a very strong institution, long history. The society journals are another safe bet. Good society. I hope I have answered your question to that extent possible.
Thanks a lot, sir, for your positive insights.
Any other question?
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Thank you for a very informative presentation. Sir, I am Dr. Anandita. I am from Department of Geography. I majorly deal with empirical studies, but I just want to know what is the cutoff line to understand that we need to develop a mixed method of research rather than follow a one either quantitative, yeah, either the qualitative one. One is that, and what is the policies, AI oriented policies when we are going to publish our research paper?
First, let me come to your first point. That is where I spent much time on it. That choosing a method in itself, it is not, I should not be guided by someone saying why you have not chosen it. Why I will choose a particular method comes from my own steps of things which I have tried to do. That if I find that yes, the the empirical study in itself, the quantitative study of my, say, in a drug, this clinical research, I would be, I will stick to not a mixed method research in itself, because I have I am looking at the trials at the different stages. I am coming first from that Then when I'm coming to the animal trials and all that, in geography research, if I have an empirical in your area, empirical research is there, then I try to go back. I will try to see that what is that set of. I'm trying to understand one research question or a set of research questions. I will try to see that can I do that research question alone by looking only at a semi-structured interview or doing a field study in itself. If I see that I can do it by doing a field study in itself, then I don't need a. And why, how I am guided by that? I'm guided not only by my hunch. I'm looking at that framework idea study, which has tried to address this, say, in my area, and what is the type of methods they have used, what is that method, and you can also find that maybe that method in itself was inadequate. So you also get a judgment. I said, no, only the empirical field studies may not find things there. So I will have to have something else also. I have a semi-structured interviews I would like to have. I would like to have some other clinic, in a sense, this what to call the analysis of these materials which I am bringing. So I'm mixed method is that when I'm using the different methods, when I'm using the different tool sets together. But why is that which I have tried to say? For the first slide in itself, that the I will question in a sense if it comes to me that why you have used this mixed method. So that defense you should have from your literature review, from your own understanding of the concepts and all that. So that is where I try to tell you that example. The same example can be replicated at your. The second question was,
The second question was, how AI policies are there for the research paper?
AI policies are not really there for research paper, they are evolving, but now Tantin, iAuthenticate are using that AI for matching these phrases, and they are saying that if they are very, very similar phrases which are being used, then they flag a paper which is very high AI. But you know, they are still evolving. So many, so in fact, one can't say that this is a policy, but they will say the journal we check on an AI, and what we do is that we look at this, and there are many false positives also. They may not be an AI at all, but the way these AI softwares are made, say long EM dash. Now we used to use EM dash. Once you see an EM dash, that's small, they will invariably say that this passage, this line is an AI line. So, but still, what I would say is that more than the policy, as a researcher and as a what you one should be doing is that one should it is not a not using AI is also not good. You must use AI, but in a different way. You use AI to validate your result. You say that I have got this set of papers, research papers, but I'm finding that these are the gaps in that. And you can use AI to identify the more research papers, but see, cross check that are that linked to that paper to see that. Or you are framing a certain thing and you are saying an AI that these are other dimensions I am missing and give me those papers. So you have to use that judiciously. But don't ask AI to write that paper for you or change your whole uh, the structure of your paper. The expressions are very important. Expressions should be yours. So the back end they see that if the expressions looks very, very artificial or you are hallucinated on the citations do not exist and you have given that citations, or the citations are there of that paper, but the citations, the papers have only different context is saying, and that quickly it can be found out that that yes, this is what it is, but there are slippages. So that is where the discipline and the practice of your thing is that. But Someone would say not use AI. It is not correct. You have to use the new tools which are there for you. But tools, use it as a validity check for yourself. And what I am saying is not, I am talking the Indian context. I have been interacting globally also with all the editors and all that, others also. And that is the same viewpoint. They will never say that don't use AI. Claude, Chat GPT and all are important. But how to use it is something which you have to, what you call, yourself, you can have to judge it. And AI policy is not really, there is no one, I can say that there is a AI policy, but it is an evolving policy. Some policies are coming, but no one will say that it is a complete in itself. I hope I have answered your question. Mixed method, I could have answered it more better if I knew the actual problem of your research, actual research, and then I could have actually told you also that maybe that you
Yes.
should.
Thank you.
So,
Yes, thank you.
Quickly, we can just take one more question, right? If anyone is having.
Good afternoon, sir. Sarananda Sharma, research scholar from Department of Anthropology. So, sir, my question is regarding the systematic review. Sir, what makes a systematic review more publishable or impactful just beyond being methodologically correct?
and that's a very good question. The, at every part, pieces of your research in itself becomes very important. So, when you are using a systematic review, because you are looking into a, a research domain from various different ways, you are trying to look at the, you are guided by your problem, and you are finding that this set of researchers have tried to address this problem in this way, and these are the type of insights that are coming from their understanding of these things and the context within which they are doing and all that. Then you have another set of, so what you are trying to see is that you are trying to get a, what is the what you call the current landscape of your research field, that narrow research field, what is the current state of research in your field, and that itself becomes a very good research paper, because that becomes a very good review paper in essence, that that it translates into a very good review paper, because you, what you are trying to do is that you are trying to say that what is the my state of art of research in a particular field, and you yourself see that not only acts for your further research, but in itself it becomes a very useful good. So that is where the review paper comes, the journal where the review paper comes. Many of them will start with a review paper, many of them will extract it from their thesis or their research work which they are doing, because they have studied the field in the narrow field in very depth. I am particularly saying narrow because one has to go into depth, not trying to say that X has done this, Y had done that, Y. You have to connect those, the different X's, how they have tried to look at this problem in this way. Different Y's, how they have looked at it, that this problem in different ways. So that makes it very interesting in itself. And then in the end also you are coming up across with your own inferential judgment of those. That's a very important part which a reviewer will, the journal will look at. That what is your inference drawn from this? So that is where your analytical ability will also. Think one must do that. One must do that. One must try to not look at at every sections of your work. You have tried to produce something out of it.
Thank you, sir.
I think we can just take one more.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Manu Sharma. I'm a first year student from anthropology and I'm doing my PhD in anthropology. So this is a problem I faced during initial time of my PhD, which is if there is a very limited literature present available on any topic, then how will we able to do a rigorous review of literature on that topic? Because I decided a topic which was related to my thesis, but I was unable to do review of literature on that topic because there were very less number of papers available.
No. Uh, what maybe you have missed out, I would say, is that you don't start with very narrow domain, because what we say is that is every domain, every subdomain has various type of cross boundary linkages, and that makes your research very very important. So there may be scholars, you are diving into a scholarship only within what you call a very narrow domain of anthropology in itself. But what is happen is that that is where your search string has to be there, that you broaden your search string and you will find that, and that is a very interesting part of it together. You find that, oh, I was thinking that this is such a narrow set of research paper, but there is so important connections within that field. And in a sense, it being the bibliometrics helps us to a large extent doing that. But even if you don't have that sophisticated knowledge, you can exploit your database in itself, any of the database, to see that how the different every, that is what I was saying, the weak signals becomes very important signals in themselves, and that is where the best research comes. The best research comes when you are trying to draw from different field and trying to see that, oh, this is the way that they have tried to look at it. So it, so you have to first suggestion would be that broaden your search string and try to look at the other related. And one way of broadening your research string is that look at the citations of your narrow set of research papers, that where they are published, what are the type of papers which are there, and which are those papers, when you are reading those, say even those 10 papers, which are the papers which you find are very very important papers, important work which comes into your paper, that paper. So go into that citation, look at those cited papers. By that, it is called a Delphi looping method, by which you can find now in that research paper, one research paper, you are finding at least a good 7 to 8 research paper, 10 research paper, maybe 15. Then again the next paper. So you have a quite a good corpus of research papers from that itself, iterative searching from the paper itself. So you know that X set of papers. So even if you have 20 papers, you can populate it to a large extent, get very, very relevant paper. And you will be surprised to see that the papers which are coming, some of the very influential papers are not coming from anthropology at all. They might be coming from completely a different field who have been using those type of tools and techniques. So that way you populate, and once you populate that, then you have a set of, you are also building keywords and all that. Then you search the database. Already you have quite a population with you now. So don't give up. When you have a narrow set of research paper, that means that the paper, that there is a large diversity within the field which you are missing, and that is a clue to a very very good research actually, which leads to, which others may have missed altogether within you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful talk on such valuable and relevant topics and answering all the questions very well. Uh, Thank you, sir, for being here with us today and enlightening our audiences. Now, I would request everyone to, we are going to announce a break for lunch and we are going to assemble again at close.
Shall I leave now? Thank you so much to all of you.
Thank you so much. Just a second, sir. Just
Okay.
Professor Bhumi is going to say something.
Thank you so much, Professor Sujit Bhattacharya, for joining us today. Like your deliberation was really very insightful, and I'm sure all the participants here today have gained a lot of knowledge in mixed method research, publication, and as well as the plagiarism part of it. So I'm very thankful to you for coming, and we would have really loved to have you here in offline, but since because of your health issues you could not make it today, but we are very hopeful that we can invite you again for a face-to-face interaction where our students, faculty members, and everybody in the organization can learn from your deliberation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. It was nice talking to you all. Thank you for the kind invitation. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to the after the post lunch session. Now we have a speaker, Dr. Harish Sharma from Amity IPR Cell. He is going to talk over the protecting our hard data, navigating the IPR framework. Dr. Sharma did his MTech in biomathematics, bioinformatics, and computational biology from Jamia Hamdard University. He did his PG diploma in IPR and patent law from Global Institute of Intellectual Property and online certification in US patent law from the George Washington University. Dr. Sharma is the key member of Amity IPR Cell at Amity University, Noida campus, where he has served as a patent associate and has been actively involved as a doctoral researcher in intellectual property rights. The IPR Cell operates under the university's research transitional umbrella, focusing on the protecting institutional innovations, managing patent and copyright portfolios, and organizing campus awareness workshops. So, welcome, sir, for this session. Sir, please take over the dais. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for introducing me. And it's an honor and privilege for me to give this presentation on protecting our hard data in navigating the IPR framework. So today we will discuss about, and I believe you have so many queries and you have so many doubts for IPR filing. So through this session, we would like to cover all the that queries and doubts. So mainly we will discuss today Indian IPR system, and basically IPR is a territorial right. Territorial right means every country have their own IPR system, having their own IPR law, rules, regulations. So we have to file our IPR into that country, and in the country which we are filing our IPR, only for that country we have legal rights. And we can only sell, manufacture, do the business in that country only. So without IPR filing, we have no legal rights in that country. So that's why we say IPR is territorial right. And first, starting with the definition of the IPR, intellectual property rights, as it is cleared by its name, any property that is generated through human mind and created by human mind is known as intellectual property. So the moment we registered this property, intellectual property, it becomes IPR, intellectual property rights. So in Indian IPR system, total 7 IPR filing we have. So these 7 IPR filings: patent, copyright, trademark, design, geographical indication, semiconductor IC layout, plant varieties. So these 7 IPR have their own significance, have their own importance. So it is up to the subject matter and your attorney and the researcher and innovator will evaluate according to that subject matter in which IPR you should go for that IPR filing. So starting with the patent, this is the most strongest protection in the all IPR 7 I discussed. So basically in patent we have 3 criteria for which we have patent registration. So that 3 criteria basically novelty, inventive step and obviousness. So if our subject matter pass these 3 criteria, if the subject matter is having some inventive step, if the subject matter is having industrial applicability, then we can have patent grant in India. And all IPR is having some particular time period for which you have legal right, you have monopoly for that subject matter. When that time period has been passed, then it becomes fair to use. Anyone can use. You cannot go for court to sue the person if that time period has been passed. So for patent, this time period is 20 years. For example, if any person is having grant in 2025, so if the patent is granted, then only for 20 years the person is having legal rights for that subject matter, and every year the person needs to pay some renewal maintenance fee to live that patent. So I just explain step by step. Whenever we are planning for any patent filing, first we need to check, is there any chance to present the same subject matter all over the world? As I told you, there are 3 criteria: novelty, inventive step, and industrial applicability. So first we will check the novelty criteria, and novelty criteria we will check generally. The subject matter should not present anywhere in any form. As I told you that these are the territorial right, and we have global search. Means if I am filing the patent in India, it doesn't mean I will look only in the Indian territory. Although the right are territorial right, but the search will be all over the world. If your subject matter is similar, present in USA, in Europe, anywhere in the world, then you cannot expect the novelty criteria will be passed in that subject matter, because the subject matter has been already in public domain. So you can have the objection during the examination of the patent. And so what we suggest generally, before going any public disclosure or before going any kind of brochure or any kind of workshop, any kind of trial, clinical trial, any kind of thing in which you just need to show your invention, your research work in public domain, first go for patent filing because of this novelty criteria. Because even you inventor himself representing the information before the patent filing, even in that case, that will anticipate his or her own work. So it is preferable, before displaying your work, first go for IPR filing so that we can maintain this criteria, novelty criteria. Second criteria, I told you that the patent must involve an inventive step. Inventive step is basically, I'll evaluate someone have some extraordinary efforts, extraordinary results in this invention, having the output that is very unique and that have not been invented before that inventor has produced that subject matter. So I'm just taking an example. For patent, it is not like we have something very complicated or we have something very complex, so that then only we can have patent. We can have a patent for a simple structure like a needle, and we can have a patent for a complicated machinery as well. So for understanding inventive step, let's say patent 1 is having a needle that is hand needle, that is having a hole on the upper section. Another person is coming up with the second needle, sewing machine needle, that is having the hole at the lower end. So if we look into the inventive step, there is a very thin layer. It can be obvious that putting hole from upper to the lower section, not so much hard work or not so much like complicated thing. But when you check the output of that needle, a hand needle is having different technical effect, having different technical domain. And when I have the sewing machine needle that is having the lower section hole, that is having totally different technical effect. So now you can evaluate how the thing can be very simple and inventive by this example. You don't need to be very complicated. If you have a very good technical effects, now I'm just extending this example of needle. If I'll just make this needle hollow, then it will become injection needle. Then it will have totally different domain, medical domain. So you can see with the single piece of metal, I have three different technical effects. And these effects are not very simple and very easy. It's a very wide and very different. Biomedical injection kind of needle is totally different. Hand needle is totally different. Sewing machine is totally different. But the difference is only structure, the placement of hole. So you can evaluate inventive step here is not so complicated. You just need to eventually mentioning your argument in one line. Suppose that if you are filing patent, any of the three patent, and you have two prior art means the similar kind of work, then you can make 2-3 pages, but that pages will explain the application technical effect. But eventually if I say the constructional feature, it is very simple, that is in a structure. So no confused for it should be complicated. There is no need to be much or more complication. If you have clear technical effect that you can see and you can argue for that technical effect, so inventive step you can easily counter. Third, I said industrial application. Industrial applicability is important. For example, if someone is working on CD player's lens, will you say it will be feasible when we have very good memory cards, pen drive kind of thing? Then who will bear CD and the CD lens kind of thing? So whenever I am doing any research, I am having any technical problem and I am coming up with a technical solution for that problem, I just need to evaluate the landscape. What exactly I am trying to do and how exactly I am trying to do. Both matters. And how it matters, by this example, it is very easy to understand. Another example I take, like I'm just making to clear the things. If some biomedical company or industry having some idea to have some kind of biological robot, biot, that can be ingested into the human body and can operate remotely operated and can cut the tumor, and your tumor will be removed within hours, within seconds, within minutes. And after that you just need to take 2-3 days to recover your body, some medicine. So you will go for that biot, you will go for that easy surgery, or you will take a prescription that is harming your body for 2, 3, 4 years or until you are alive, and you need to spend money on daily basis on that particular tumor medicine. If any company is very close to achieve that kind of biot, and at the same time if some big pharma company is working on the composition that can remove that tumor through that chemical composition, but in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and at the same time we all know that if I'm taking any medicine, any simple medicine I'm taking very long time, it will some have side effects in my body. So what will you choose? Obviously you will go for easier one, same like pen drive and memory card. So that's why I'm saying industrial applicability matters when you have implementation, when you have proper landscape, when you have proper white space analysis. White space analysis, this is the technical problem, and these experts also looking into it. Now AI expert is working in all domain, as we can see. Every domain is something somewhere having AI, ML, IoT kind of thing, cloud data, these kind of thing. So we need to take care all these things, like other domain is also looking into it. If we have better landscape, if we have better white space analysis, then we can save our time, we can save our money as well. Another example, I'm taking the disaster with Moser Beer. Everyone knows that was the very good, great company, but today where is it stands, we all knows. Kodak totally bankrupted, I guess. No market of Kodak in today's time. Why? Because they never adapted. We never seen any pen drive of Moser Beer. We never seen any digital camera of Kodak. Because they didn't timely research on that correct subject matter. The sale was good during that era. That was on the top. The market stock shares was on the high, and they was earning good. But still, eventually, today we can't see these companies in market. Why? Because wrong. I'm not sure, but in my perception, it's somewhere some wrong landscape with that research lab of the Kodak and Mozambique. That's why I couldn't adapt and couldn't survive. So that's why industrial application, implementation, landscape analysis, white space analysis is very important in patent filing. So I believe now you have very clear idea the three criteria for patent. Novelty should not be present in any form, anywhere in the world. Inventive step, as simple as needle. Industrial application, implementation, like biot and chemical composition I just given. So if you have all these criteria positive, then you can expect your patent will be granted. Apart from these three criteria, as Indian economy is underdeveloping economy, so we have few aspects due to this economy burden. Because of these aspects and economic burden, although these three criteria can be passed, but we have non-patentable section 3. In this section, non-patentable section 3, we have few subject matters that are still not patentable. For example, if I am coming up with some kind of business method, some kind of new game, some kind of software coding, some kind of discovery that is present in nature, but I just discover, I didn't invent, I discovered that natural occurring element, and I just saying it is invented. It is not invented, it is discovered by me, but I cannot take patent for that subject matter. So apart from these three criteria, we just have look into this non-patentable section also, because if all three criteria passed, but your subject matter unfortunately fall into this non-patentable section, then even you cannot expect your patent shall be granted. It can be rejected because of this non-patentability section. So you just need to somewhere check 4 criteria: novelty, inventive step, industrial applicability, fourth non-patentability section. So in this section, we have total section 3A, B, C, D till section P subsection we have, and all subsection having their one unique aspect. Like one section 3K says business method, section I guess 3P says traditional knowledge we cannot take patent, and section 3H we can say any process, any method related to horticulture is not patentable. So every subsection is having some subject matter that we cannot take patent. For example, we cannot take patent over any plant and any living organism. If I am inventing anything, if I am doing any treatment on living organism, then I cannot take patent on that. So exclusive right, basically all IPR filing is related to exclusive right to the innovator, to the creator. And once you have that exclusive right, you can make, you can use, you can sell, you can import, you can do whatever you can do for your business. No one can do without your prior permission if you have any kind of IPR filing. So for patent, if you have any query, any doubt, please let me know. Then I'll just move to my next slide and next IPR, copyright. So till here, anyone have any question, any doubt for patent? Yes. Yes, one very good question. Formula and mathematical equations are not patentable. I just give you a simple logic. You will never confuse in your life. What is patentable, what is not patentable. Say, for example, why I am spending money, I am spending time so that no one can make copy without my prior permission. If I am inventing a formula, if I am inventing any game, if I am inventing any infrastructure kind of thing, 1%, I am just saying, just making, you will get the patent for your equation. Okay. Now, what is the purpose for this patent? So that anyone cannot copy. So, is it feasible? Can you stop? We have 150 CR population, we have 800 CR population in the world, and if you are inventing with some formula, can you do legal notice to all people? Can you say to every person, it is my formula, please don't write it, please don't use it? Patent is possible only when you have one single place of production and you have proper identity, so that you can go to that place, you can go to that person and you can sue them. Sir, this is my machine, this is my idea, this is my patent, and you cannot do without my prior permission. If the needle I am taking patent and having any industry, any brand, then I can sue, I can send legal notice to that office. But when I am taking patent for the formula, for the mathematical equation, for the game, so is it possible? Can you give the legal notice to that person? The main sanctity for IPR filing is to reward the inventor, innovator, creator. In academics, we have somewhere different scenario that we got promotions, we got appraisal. But this law was made and drafted not for these kind of things. The major perception when we came up with the IPR, patent, design, these kind of words, the major thing that other person should not earn on someone other's hard work and research.
So then how this particular patent is going to help to the social researcher?
Exactly. This is the very good question also. Why? Because somewhere in my slide I have mentioned that for few things it is allowable that any IPR, not only patent, any IPR can use any person, by any person. But condition that should no commercialize benefit for that person. if I'm using your invention, your research paper, you have something good copyright for a written content, and I am just taking excerpt and putting in my paper. So I'm not harming you. I am just giving other person a representation that I am also having knowledge of this. So if any person is using your IPR in the way that is only for research or some study or some public welfare or some public need, emergency kind of thing. So in patent we have compulsory license kind of term. Compulsory license, as it is cleared by its term, compulsory. For example, when we have the time of 2020 COVID era, when if someone is having patent for that COVID vaccine and make exorbitant price for that vaccine, so is it feasible? So that's why government make some hold on that property through compulsory license. If government sees that this patent is very important for the time being and for that society, so government has full right to take over your invention, although it is your invention. But because of that condition, COVID is the best example to understand this situation. Government can take, there is a section 89 for compulsory license. So in that 89, government, as government is giving you right, government is giving you protection. When someone is copying or selling, manufacturing your product, you are moving to court. Court is government. When government is giving you anything, then obviously government will also expect something from you. So this is the reason we have the concept of compulsory licensing. So if government feels this is the need for an hour, then government have full rights to take over your and not patent any idea. Government can take over. You cannot fight with the government that this is my patent. Why are you are using it? Government is. But there are few conditions, and that condition is mentioned in section 89. Yes, you will read that condition, and if you feel any conditions are not meeting and government is having in some dictatorship and using without any that proper rules regulation, then you can ask from the government as well. But generally, government can use. Yes.
Copyright.
Yes.
Property or for that you can have a copyright.
Yes, sir.
But talking about patents particularly,
Yes, sir.
can you please suggest some of the examples of the patents that have been filed in the field of social science?
Exactly. This is the very good question also, because social science is somewhere more into copyright kind of thing. And patent generally we have some kind of technical advancement. So I'm just taking an example. I just purchased a new mobile, right? So in this mobile, I have all IPR. All means maximum 4 IPR I can see. How 4 IPR exist in this mobile box? The company logo. For example, I am purchasing Apple phone. So the Apple logo on that box is trademark kind of IPR, right? When I'm using the technology, that wireless technology, communication is doing from one point to another point, peer to peer, that I cannot see directly inside body, the waves, the frequency, these are working. So these are patentable in nature. The booklet in the box, any advertisement, poster, any brochure, any written thing that you can see over the website, anywhere, that you just came to know that something is in market, that is the copyright kind of subject matter. So 3 IPR I have just discussed in this box: mobile technology, and the booklet, any pamphlet, any advertisement, poster, any email, anything that is copyright subject matter. The company's logo, trademark in itself, is a trademark kind of thing. The fourth one is design, you can say. Design, we have lot of design in market. Every company have different models, and every model have different design. So the aesthetic that I can see, I can feel, for that I say I will buy this mobile. That is for design filing. So 4 IPR in the one box you can easily evaluate. So basically, when you have something that you can express in words, like musical rhymes, like any poem, it doesn't matter. It should be 1,000 word. It should be. There is no limitation. A poem, even some kind, we have a dohe. It is only 2 lines. तो अगर मैंने कोई नया दोहा बनाया तो दैट 2 lines दोहा आई कैन ऑल्सो हैव अ कॉपीराइट. इससे छोटा कॉपीराइट और क्या बनेगा. तो यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड द निटी ग्रिटी की आप छोटे से छोटा दोहे का भी कॉपीराइट ले सकते हैं. एंड वी हैव अ book that is having n number of chapter and n number of pages. I can have copyright for that also. So that's why I'm saying today we are taking session of this, so that once you have any new subject matter, you will better know, because attorney के पास आप जाएंगे तो definitely he will charge, और वो हो सकता है अपनी अर्निंग के लिए आपको 4 IPR एक्स्ट्रा बता दें जिसकी कोई नीड ना भी हो. बिकॉज ऑफ लैकिंग ऑफ द नॉलेज आपको पॉइंट पे सही लगे. बिकॉज एडवोकेट, टीचर्स, सीए, डॉक्टर्स जो कहते हैं हम जनरली उसे सही मानते हैं. इसीलिए मेरा पर्सनल ओपिनियन है कि हमें ऐसी चीज कोई भी करते हैं जब तक हम 3-4 जगह से कंफर्म ना कर ले, हमें जल्दी से बिलीव नहीं करना चाहिए. बिकॉज टुडे आर नॉट काइंड ऑफ, वो एनवायरमेंट नहीं है. तो दैट्स व्हाई इफ यू हैव बेसिक नॉलेज ऑफ ऑल 7 IPR, तो आप उसे काउंटर कर सकते हैं. आप अपना क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं. सर आई जस्ट नो कि ये है, बट आपने ये कहा तो किस तरह से कहा. तो दैट्स व्हाई टुडे सेशन इज एक्सप्लेनिंग ऑल अबाउट 7 IPR. तो यू हैव टू एवोलेट कि आपका वो एग्जैक्टली क्या है. यू विल गो फॉर पेटेंट फाइलिंग व्हेन यू हैव सम टेक्निकल इफेक्ट, टेक्निकल एडवांसमेंट, टेक्नोलॉजी इज वर्किंग देयर. अब लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल सैमसंग इज इन्वेंटिंग अ वायरलेस कम्युनिकेशन, 6G 7G kind of communication. First time Samsung is coming up with. बट उसने पेटेंट ना लेके कि पेटेंट का खर्चा ज्यादा था, पेटेंट का टाइम ड्यूरेशन ज्यादा था, अभी मुझे 2-3 महीने में चाहिए तो मैं कॉपीराइट करवा लेता हूँ इसका. बिकॉज कॉपीराइट जल्दी हो जाता है, प्लस देयर इज नो फेलियर इन कॉपीराइट एंड डिजाइन. Patent and trademark is having thorough examination and there is a chance of failure as well. But in my 12 year of experience, I never seen any copyright or any design got rejected. I never seen any copyright and any design. और copyright की एक speciality ये भी है कि it is automatically registered. शायद आपने सुना भी हो किसी ने कि copyright is the only IPR that is automatically registered. But actually इस automatically registration की definition हम exactly कोर्ट में नहीं दे पाएंगे. इस वजह से हम उसे रजिस्टर करवाते हैं फॉर अ कॉम्पैक्ट काइंड ऑफ थिंग कि मेरे पास सर्टिफिकेट है, मेरे पास एक ऑफिशियल रिकॉर्ड है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ एनी बिग क्रिएटर लाइक AR रहमान इज कमिंग अप विद वेरी गुड न्यू म्यूजिकल रैंक, बिकॉज उसका एक नाम है, उसने अगर एक चीज आज लॉन्च की, वो उस कॉपीराइट को रजिस्टर कराए ना कराए, उसका एक पूरे वर्ल्ड में ही रिकॉर्ड बन गया कि आज AR रहमान ने इस डेट पे ये म्यूजिक लॉन्च किया है. बट अगर मैं हरीश शर्मा कुछ लॉन्च करूंगा, मेरी एग्जिस्टेंस नहीं है इतनी बड़ी, तो मुझे उस कॉपीराइट की जरूरत पड़ेगी ताकि कल को अगर AR रहमान उसे चुराए तो मैं उसे कह सकूं कि ये मैंने इस डेट पे करा था कॉपीराइट रजिस्टर. तो नाउ यू कैन थिंक कि ऑटोमेटिक रजिस्ट्रेशन हो जाता है, लेकिन वो क्यों जरूरी है. अगर वो एक सेलिब्रिटी है उसके लिए वो जरूरी नहीं है, वो इजीली प्रूव कर देगा. वो अपनी कोई भी एक लॉन्च डेट दिखा देगा, इवेंट दिखा देगा, वो सेलिब्रिटी होने की वजह से उसे जज भी जानता होगा. बट एज अ लेमैन पर्सन मुझे वो चीजें दिखाने में दिक्कत होगी, तो इस वजह से मुझे वो एक ऑफिशियल रिकॉर्ड के लिए लेके रखना पड़ेगा. तो हम अभी ये डिस्कस कर रहे थे कि बेसिकली हमें खुद एवेल्युएट करना है, हमें खुद चेक करना है. वी हैव जस्ट टू चेक under which IPR, in that 7 IPR हमारा क्या है exactly. So if let's say Samsung is coming up with 7G technology and they are not taking patent, they are filing copyright. अब क्योंकि उन्होंने copyright फाइल किया, copyright is for production of content in the printed form. So because Samsung took the copyright and eventually 7G technology is working like technical advancement. If Apple is starting production of that technology, because the Samsung took copyright is for production in the form of papers. They are not doing any kind of production on paper. They are just using their technology in the form of working environment kind of thing. तो इसी वजह से मैंने आपको कहा कि यू हैव प्रॉपर फाइलिंग, जिसका जो सिग्निफिकेंस है उसी के अकॉर्डिंग अगर आप आईपीआर फाइल करेंगे तभी आपको उसका बेनिफिट मिलेगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर गलती से हमने किसी पोयम का अगर पेटेंट करवा भी लिया, 1% को, मैं आपको 1% के लिए मान लीजिए, होगा नहीं लेकिन 1% के लिए वो करवा लिया, किसी अटॉर्नी ने अपनी स्किल्स को यूज करके उसका ग्रांट भी करवा लिया, लेकिन पेटेंट इज फॉर टेक्नोलॉजी वर्किंग. अगर वो किसी इवेंट में किसी जगह पे वो पोयम सुनाई जा रही है, वो गाना गाया जा रहा है, वो तो आपका तो पेटेंट है, आप उसको स्यू कैसे करेंगे? प्रॉपर सेक्शन ही नहीं हो पाएगा. तो वी हैव प्रॉपर सेक्शंस व्हेन वी आर इनटू कोर्ट्स. बिकॉज ऑफ दैट सेक्शन देयर विल बी प्रॉपर फाइलिंग इन दैट आईपीआर जो हमारे साथ में से उनमें से. Yes, ma'am.
We generally work on cause and effect.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Like for my work is like I'm working on the parent, human health, and how the parent is living.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I, with a time period of data, can I develop something which I can apply for? It's definitely not patent because it's a map,
Yes.
but can I apply for a copyright?
Yes, ma'am. For, as I told you, that for a written content you can take copyright, but I am taking an example.
The research paper,
Yes,
right?
that's yes.
That the research paper.
Not only research paper, any kind of written data.
Achha.
Any kind of written data, meaningful data, but it cannot be like Airtel is having their clients list. That will be also very unique, but that cannot be copyright. That will leakage of the confidentiality of some person details. So now you can understand your data should be there, but should not infringe any other person's confidentiality, privacy, or any moral kind of thing. I cannot make a story having some person in my state, my friend, my neighbor. Yeah, I'm just making the proper name, address, and making a good story and taking copyright, and it will tarnish the image of that person. That's why every time you see, whenever any show started, all characters are fictitious, something like this. That's the reason. So these are the objection you face if you file some wrong or any contrarily kind of thing.
So,
Yes.
yes. Can we retract it then if we have given, like, for example, we did not know the information that we cannot file a patent, we had to file a copyright.
Yes.
So, what is the process then? What the concerned person has to do then?
For copyright filing, you're asking?
If the concerned person has done a wrong IPR.
Wrong IPR, yes.
Yes.
Ma'am, actually in law, not only in IPR, it is you have to decide what you are doing. For example, अगर मेरे पास 2 डॉक्टर हैं, we have many diseases that is having same symptoms. ये मेडिकल नेग्लिजेंस में काफी ऐसे केसेस फंसते हैं, ठीक है. सेम इन लीगल, वी हैव फ्यू एक्ट दैट सेज इट शुड नॉट बी मोनोपोली. लाइक आपने सुना होगा कॉम्पिटिशन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया, CCI, that is totally anti to the patent act. पेटेंट कहता है कि मोनोपोली होनी चाहिए, बट अगर आप में से किसी ने कंपटीशन कमीशन, आपने शायद सुना हो बहुत साल पहले 1-1 रुपए में जब फ्लिपकार्ट में चीजें सेल होनी स्टार्ट हुई थी, तो सीसीआई ने उस पर अपोज किया था, केस सूट फाइल किया था फ्लिपकार्ट पे। सीमेंट एसोसिएशन का एक बहुत पॉपुलर केस है कि उसमें सीमेंट एसोसिएशन ने इनएडवर्टेंटली बहुत ज्यादा प्राइस कर दिया था सीमेंट्स का, तो वहां पे सीसीआई ने उसको वापस रिवोक किया था। 10-12 साल पुरानी कार्टेल के थ्रू ये चीजें हुई थी, पुरानी बात है। तो इन लॉ, इन लीगल एंड ये जो सीए, ये 3 डोमेन ऐसे हैं, इसमें थिंग्स आर कॉन्ट्ररी। जो आप देखते हैं केसेस लंबे चलते रहते हैं, उनका रीजन क्या होता है? जब आप उन्हें स्टडी करेंगे यही होता है कि एक ने काउंटर किया अपना एक सेक्शन कि अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस सेक्शन माय केस इज फॉलोइंग एंड आई शुड हैव सम काइंड ऑफ रेमेडी एंड कंपनसेशन, बट सेकंड पार्टी फिर उसका एंटी लॉ लेकर आएगी। लेट से आपने एक एज अ पेटेंट, एज एन कॉपीराइट, आपने आईपीआर का एक सेक्शन लगाया कि आईपीआर के सेक्शन को देखते हुए हरीश शर्मा ने अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन में बताया था कि कोई भी आपकी प्रायर परमिशन के, लेकिन ये तो कर रहा है, तो अब वहां पे उसका अटॉर्नी शांत थोड़ी ना बैठेगा, है ना। अब जिसकी जैसी नॉलेज है वो उस हिसाब से, अब कोई क्लाइंट आएगा वो मना थोड़ी ना करेगा, नहीं सर आप जाओ। हमारे पास डिफेंडेंट और प्लेंटिव तो दोनों साइड से होते हैं ना। इवन जो अभी ये सोनम रघुवंशी का केस चल रहा है, उसमें उसे बेल मिल गई, आपने देखा हो, तो उसमें उसके लॉयर ने एक सेक्शन निकाला कि इन्होंने एक सेक्शन नहीं लगाया था। अगर आप उस केस को पढ़ेंगे तो वो सेक्शन ना लगने की वजह से उसको बेल मिल गई कि आपने रॉन्ग सेक्शन लगाया था। तो लूप होल्स को, एग्जैक्टली लूप होल्स, तो दैट्स व्हाई आई एम सेइंग कि आपने कहा कि कॉपीराइट की जगह पेटेंट कर दिया, वो आपकी गलती है, इसका हर्जाना आपको ही भरना पड़ेगा इवेंचुअली। तो दैट्स व्हाई आई एम सेइंग, दैट्स व्हाई वी टीच, दैट्स व्हाई यू लर्न, कि आपको बेसिक नॉलेज हो। कभी कभी सेम सिम्टम्स में डिफरेंट डिफरेंट डिजीज होती हैं। अब जिस डॉक्टर के पास गए, अनफॉर्चुनेटली उसके पास एक तो एक्स उसकी एक्सपर्टीज थी, उसने आपको वो, ये बहुत मेडिकल नेग्लिजेंस में आप देखेंगे तो हर साल इंडिया में ऐसे 1000 से 1500 केसेस आते हैं, सेम सिम्टम्स होते हैं, वो सालों तक गलत ट्रीटमेंट करवा रहे हैं, वो बाद में कुछ का कुछ और वो डिजास्टर होगा, तो अब उसमें क्या कर सकते हैं। तो दैट्स व्हाई वी से कि जब भी मैंने आपसे कहा कि 3 सीए, डॉक्टर, लीगल, ये 3 प्रोफेशन ऐसे हैं, एटलीस्ट आपको 3 लोगों से ओपिनियन लेके ही प्रोसीड करना चाहिए। जब वो तीनों कहे ना कि हाँ सेम सेम आपको दिखे, देन यू शुड गो फॉर जो भी आपका प्रिस्क्रिप्शन, जो भी प्रोसेस। Yes, please.
Sir, myself Chuma, research scholar anthropology. Sir, my question is, sir, in social science research, there is no technical advancement actually, whatever I do. Sir, in fieldwork, like we know that Bronislaw Walensky, when he did fieldwork, he participated the method, the participant observations. I think this is kind of copyright, or like what kind of methods we can copyright the methods. It is not the technical advancement, so we can also like some when we will do the field work, we can just invent certain kind of methods that it is easily understandable, or it is easily applicable for the scholars. Then we easily it's patented or copyright the methods. That's my question, sir. Also, my second question is, sir, I am an aspiring author, sir, and I write on Instagram or Facebook or any other platform or blogs. Sir, my question is before writing anywhere, have I like copyright the ideas or something, or keep anyone can stole the ideas or something, sir?
Yes. What I get your question basically somewhere like मैम कि आपका पेटेंट था लेकिन आपने कॉपीराइट करवा लिया और आप ऑनलाइन कुछ पोस्ट कर रहे हैं और उसको कोई
Someone
some other person is copying, so definitely नॉट ओनली कॉपीराइट एक्ट विल बी देयर, अगर ऑनलाइन किसी ने कोई कॉपी भी किया है तो वहां पे साइबर लॉ भी आएगा। इवन देयर विल बी 2 एक्ट वर्क, साइबर लॉ, व्हेन समवन कॉपिंग योर कंटेंट, अगर वो प्राइवेट कॉन्फिडेंशियल कंटेंट उसने कॉपी किया तो वो और सिवियर और क्रिमिनल चार्जेस उस पर लगते हैं। सो बट एज वी आर डिस्कसिंग IPR, yes, there will be also copyright infringement kind of suit you can put, and there will be sections, and yes, actually everything that we are mentioning in patent that can be copied in subject matter, because in both we are having some kind of written draft. If you look into the patent final submission, that is into the form of Form 2, complete specification. We just mentioned how technical effects are coming, how technology is working, what is the subject matter. So we all just do all things on papers. So there is no prototype we submit and that prototype they examine. It is not like that. We just mention in words. So you can say, yes, you can take copyright for the patent. People do generally कि मैंने एक चीज का पेटेंट लिया था, उसी सेम सब्जेक्ट मैटर का उन्होंने कॉपीराइट भी करवा लिया. बट अगेन आई एम सेइंग कि एकेडमिक्स में इफेक्ट थोड़ा अलग है. अगर आप उसे इंडस्ट्री वाइज देखेंगे तो वो इफेक्ट टोटली अलग है, क्योंकि इन एकेडमिक्स वी आर लिमिटेड अप टू अप्रेजल एंड प्रमोशंस एंड पीएचडी एंड पीडीएफ एंड काइंड ऑफ थिंग. बट जब ये एक्ट बना था तब ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. उन्होंने इस चीज के लिए नहीं बनाया था कि लोग प्रमोशन मिलेंगे. उन्होंने इसलिए बनाया था कि कोई अपनी मेहनत और अपना पैसा जब खर्च करे तो उसको कोई इजीली कॉपी ना कर सके. द एक्चुअल पर्पस वाज दिस. So that's why there are some different scenario in academics. You can take the copyright for the same draft of patent, but it will not work. जिस चीज का जो सिग्निफिकेंस है आप उसको ही करेंगे तभी वो आपके लिए सक्सेसफुल होगा. सर्टिफिकेट you can get easily. Yes, certificate you can get if someone is posting your private content, copying your content, online content, then you can also sue the person. You can file infringement suit. But significance is totally different. So I hope I answered. So trademark basically for logo, for any good quote someone having, and we also have sound mark trademark as well. जैसे अभी आप सुन रहे हैं मेल आ रही है तो एक इसका भी एक साउंड मार्क रजिस्टर हो सकता है. जैसे हम विंडो ओपन करते हैं तो एक हमें साउंड आता है. तो फॉर दैट काइंड ऑफ थिंग वी हैव ट्रेडमार्क. स्मेल मार्क भी होता है. लेट्स से शायद आपने सुना टेनिस बॉल का, मुझे पता है एक कंपनी की नाम मैं भूल रहा हूँ, फॉरगेटिंग द नेम ऑफ दैट कंपनी, not Costco, but means when you have that ball in your hand, then you have a good kind of green kind of smell. So smell mark for that ball. So so many other products that you can give a good smell, any significance of that fragrance. So you can take registration for fragrance and smell mark as well. Some packaging. Actually I guess शायद स्मेल अगर किसी तरह से जनरेट हुई है तो उसमें कुछ केमिकल कंपोजिशन उन्होंने डाली होंगी डेफिनेटली. When we have the same kind of smell, then we will check in lab the composition kind of thing, I believe. But yes, these kind of cases are very complicated, but we have smell marks. We have smell marks, we have sound marks, we have packaging. If we have very novel kind of packaging, any kind of novel packaging, then we can take trademark for that. And yes, exactly. Yes, you can take for a novel packaging. You can take trademark and design filing also. So here is also two IPR will work. If you have any novel packaging, because the kind of aesthetic it is, a kind of novelty is there in aesthetic. So you can file for design filing IPR. But at the same time, it is a part of trade. So you can file also trademark. So that's why I'm saying few subject matter falls in two categories. And the important thing is yours question कि कई बार हम जिस चीज का रिसर्च पेपर हम लिखते हैं, आप देखते हैं कि in journals we have always copyright. Always we have a copyright. Every journal have copyright. Not a single paper published have C mark. Every paper published have C mark. If the paper is good, definitely we can go for patent filing. Eventually it is some technical advancement the paper is telling. So copyright we have already done. Patent we can also do. So few subject matter are exceptional and we can go for 2 or 3 patent IPR filing. But generally when we have less money and we need some exactly significance, we need to choose one. industrial design, as I just explained that anything, if you are coming up with novel design, aesthetic, eye appealing feature, this bottle, this glass, anything that is eye appealing, that makes fantastic kind of feel that person can to buy and take. So you will go for industrial design filing. In Indian IPR system, I'm just checking that many people say design patent. Many people say design patent. I have design patent, UK design patent. So in Indian IPR system, we don't have any design patent. Design patent is a US term, not an Indian term. In India, we have only patent. In India, we have only plant variety. In India, we have only design, industrial design, design registration. These are the US terms: plant patent, design patent, utility patent. These are the US terms. Totally vague in nature in Indian IPR system. So, if any person is saying in India, I have design patent, in US if it is doing, it is correct. But if in Indian IPR system, he is saying I got Indian design patent, then the person is saying totally wrong. There is no Indian design patent. So, as I told you initially, that every IPR having some specific time period. So for industrial design, 15 years time period. Once this time period is over, anyone can use your subject matter, your invention without your prior permission. There is no need to take any license or any permission after this time period. So any other question, any query, please, for design, copyright, patent, trademark filing. So you may please ask. Yes, that's happy. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, copyright, I'll say it is the very economical and very easiest form, and 100% you will get the certificate that you have this copyright registration certificate. Even my son is in 4th class, and as an attorney, I have just registered 10, 15 copyright for my son. He just made something good painting. I just filed the copyright. He just made 4, 5 lines, good kind of poem. I just registered. Copyright is not a very hard deal. I
So
can.
in MIT, definitely the social science research
Yes.
may apply for these kind of things. Can you share some of ideas? And like this, you can also file.
Yes. Whatever is your research work, whatever you feel you can add in some good manner, that will be more useful for other readers, you can just go for copyright file. Because once you will get this chronology, how it works, you can have even thousands copyright. You will get bored yourself why I am doing. Otherwise, there is no big issue and there is no big deal to take a copyright registration. It is very easy process. Even you don't need to hire any attorney as well. It is as simple as you make your email. Just
Do we need to go through MIT, or a person can individually
yes, because you are
register
an
it?
MET, we are MET employee, and we are doing all things by using MET infrastructure. So whatever IPR you are created here, you just need to fill through MET IPR. 100%. I am just giving you general perception how you can create the content. Even copyright is so weaker form. If one person is coming up with software algorithm that is in Perl language or in Python language, if other person change into Java or .NET or C++, he can take the copyright for the same logic. It is so weaker. It is so weaker. I have seen so many cases. I know the person, but I say, okay, हमें क्या पड़ी है? ठीक है, करो, कितना मर्जी करो. We have one research paper from XYZ journal, and the person just run on the quillbot, rephrase the thing, and he is having the same copyright. There is no plagiarism check in copyright registration, the good thing. लोग मेरे से पूछ इट शुड नॉट बी 100%, एंड आई बिलीव जब मैं स्कूल में भी था तो भी मैं थोड़ा सा ऊपर नीचे करके ही लिखता था, कुछ अपनी नॉलेज ऐड करता था, कुछ उसकी भी ले लेता था. So it should not be 100%, even if it is a single word changed. If in the document all things are same, but in first line it is I am Harish Sharma, you just change into my name is Harish Sharma. All things are same. Even this is different. That's why we have the most infringement cases in copyright and design, because these are very weakest form. Yes, sir. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, which rate, sir?
Retraction rate
Retraction rate.
in case of copyright, in case of a design patent, utility patent, publications,
Yes, sir. Sir, this is
where we stand.
yes, sir. That's why I'm saying these are not in Indian IPR system. Design patent, utility patent is not in India. And further, copyright actually in IPR, if I'll say practically I'll say, मैं आपको एक ऐसे एग्जांपल देता हूँ, you will never get confused कि मुझे क्या करवाना है क्या नहीं करवाना. देखिए, अगर प्रैक्टिकली आप बात करेंगे तो जहां हमारे को ये बेसिकली कमर्शलाइजेशन के लिए है, ठीक है. आप इसका सबसे बेस्ट एग्जांपल मैं आपको दूंगा. वी हैव रोड साइड ढाबा, हॉकर्स, ठीक है, शॉप्स. कई बार वो काफी बिग सेलिब्रिटीज के फोटो लगा देते हैं वहां पे, संदीप दा ढाबा, और वो सलमान खान की फोटो लगी होगी वो वहां पे. क्या वो सेम चीज होटल ली मेरिडियन कर सकता है? क्यों नहीं कर सकता? उसके लिए और उसके लिए क्यों इतना फर्क? क्योंकि सलमान खान के पास इतना टाइम नहीं है कि वो उस दिन के 1,000 रुपए कमाने वाले ढाबे वाले को लीगल नोटिस भेजे. ऑल थिंग्स डिपेंड ऑन द वर्थ. किसी को कोई मतलब नहीं है कि अपने पास इतना लोड है ऑलरेडी कि किसी को क्या पता किस कोने में कहा. वो जब तक आपका एक बियॉन्ड द थ्रेशोल्ड आप नहीं क्रॉस करते ना, दैट्स व्हाई वी हैव फेयर यूज टर्म. तो आप जो मर्जी फाइल कीजिए, किसी को क्या पड़ेगा. मैं भी आपको क्या कहते हैं, मैं खुद टेक्नोलॉजी आपको बना दूंगा. अभी मैं 10 पेटेंट पढ़ूंगा सैमसंग के, तो 11वीं मैं खुद क्रिएट कर लूंगा इजीली. वो लैब में जब करेंगे मैं अभी, बट अभी मैंने आपको वही बताया था इम्प्लीमेंटेशन. सैमसंग को क्या पड़े कि वो हरीश शर्मा पे टाइम वेस्ट करे. हरीश शर्मा कर रहा है तो अपना पैसा वेस्ट कर रहा है. मैं अपना खुश होता रहूंगा, देखो मैंने पेटेंट फाइल किया. लेकिन सैमसंग के लिए वो बहुत छोटी चीज है. प्रैक्टिकली करते रहो आप, हमें क्या पड़ी. आप 100 को, 1000 को, लाखों को दिखाओ. बट अगर मैंने एग्जैक्टली इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, जो मैंने वर्ड बोला था, इम्प्लीमेंट करके मैंने जब वो 100 करोड़ का प्रोडक्शन स्टार्ट किया, देन सैमसंग विल कम टू मी एंड से दिस वाज माय टेक्नोलॉजी. अगर वो संदीप दा ढाबा कपिल शर्मा या उसकी तरह कोई बड़ा ढाबा बन गया, तब वो खुद कहेगा इसे हटा दो. So that's the reason.
For example, Congress Janata Party.
Sorry, sir.
Congress Janata Party recently.
Cockroach Janata Party means that is some different kind of issue. अभी वहाँ पे वो एक उनका अलग है. But yes,
लीडिंग में थे.
yes, उसके I guess in my knowledge more than 100 trademarks अभी तक आ चुके हैं एप्लीकेशन उसके. तो देखिए, बाय लॉ कॉकरोच जनता पार्टी का भी अगर जब वो फर्स्ट एप्लीकेशन फाइल किया होगा, तो जो भी एग्जामिनेशन में हम चेक करते हैं नोवेल्टी अगर वो है तो मिलेगा उन्हें. दैट इज नॉट लाइक कि आपने कुछ, अगर वो सारे जो रूल्स रेगुलेशंस और एग्जामिनेशन को पास करते हैं, दे विल आल्सो गेट द रजिस्ट्रेशन फॉर ट्रेडमार्क CJP. अब उसमें मुझे नहीं पता, बिकॉज बेसिकली आई एम अ पेटेंट अटॉर्नी, so I don't have depth knowledge of trademark, because everywhere is moral values. In India, we are bound to some moral and ethics. We are not like a Western culture. So we should. मैं आपको क्या कह रहा हूँ कि मैम एक सैंक्टिटी थी 2020 तक पेटेंट्स की भी. I started this career in 2014. I did my LLB after completing MTech. People said कि ये कौन सा कॉम्बिनेशन है, मैंने आज तक नहीं सुना. लोग PhD करते हैं या MBA करते हैं, तुम LLB. So उस टाइम तक एक सैंक्टिटी थी, बट इन 2020 पेटेंट इज बिकम हलवा. आप किसी को नहीं रोक सकते. कितनों को रोकोगे आप? The thing you are saying that is 100%. I agree, I admit, ऐसे ही होना चाहिए. बट जब सर पे तलवार लटकती कि आपको PhD नहीं मिलेगी, आपके 3 पेपर पब्लिश नहीं है, 2 पेटेंट ग्रांटेड नहीं है, तो बेचारा क्या करेगा? जब आप एडमिशन, हर जगह एक एडमिशन का मजाक बन जाएगा. जिनके नहीं भी हो सकते उनको भी एडमिशन मिल जाएगा. फिर जब उन पे प्रेशर आएगा तो आप क्या, वी आर ऑल आर फैकल्टी, वी नो कि हमें किस तरह से इंस्ट्रक्शंस आती हैं. मैंने एक XYZ कॉलेज में पढ़ाया. वहां पे मैंने शुरू में कॉलेज को क्रीम बनाने के चक्कर में 100 में से 90 बच्चे फेल कर दिए. उन्होंने मुझे जॉब से उसका लेटर आ गया कि आपने तो हमारा रिजल्ट ही खराब कर दिया. उन्होंने कहा अब आप एक काम करो, 3 नंबर का इसमें जंप करो, और वो 3 नंबर एक्स्ट्रा करते ही वो 90 में से 80 बच्चे पास हो गए. तो जब ये वाली सिचुएशन आएगी तो फिर मरता क्या नहीं करता. देयर मस्ट बी सैंक्टिटी. जो आपकी नॉलेज एकदम करेक्ट है. द थिंग्स मस्ट बी वेरी पर्टिकुलर, द थिंग्स मस्ट बी नोबल, बट I am just explaining the weaker part of the copyright. आजकल जो चल रहा है, ताकि आप उसमें एक गलत विक्टिम ना बने. मैं देखता हूँ लोग ग्रुप्स बनाते हैं, उसमें पोजीशन वाइज, शायद आपने भी सुना हो, देखा हो. दैट इज टोटली रॉन्ग. पोजीशन नेवर मैटर्स इन IPR. मैं हैरान हो जाता हूँ, फर्स्ट का इतना, सेकंड का इतना, थर्ड का, वो नीचे आते हैं, वो भी कम होता है. तो this session I am taking to explain all these things कि आप किसी गलत एडवाइस का विक्टिम ना बने. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But then the outcome doesn't come up.
Yes, sir. मैं बिल्कुल आपको इसका बहुत अच्छा जवाब देता हूँ. अभी जो मैंने कहा, आपने एक पेटेंट लिखा, बहुत अच्छा लिखा. मैंने 10 के पेटेंट लिखे, उसको मैंने अपने एक्सपीरियंस की वजह से इतना वैलिडेटेड तरीके से लिखा कि वो जो एग्जैक्टली एक्सपर्टीज मेरे लेवल की रखता है उसे पता है ये बेवकूफ बना रहा है. पेटेंट मिल गया तो क्या है, आप करते रहो. आप वहां पे अपने घर में फ्रेम में लगा के लिख दो कि आई गॉट पेटेंट ग्रांटेड. बट एक्चुअल में क्या, ठीक है, दैट इज गुड कि आपने पेटेंट करवा लिया और वो पेटेंट हो जाएगा. इंडिया, नॉट ओनली इन इंडिया, इवन गूगल भी अगर 100 पेटेंट फाइल करते हैं, ओनली 1 पेटेंट इज कमर्शियलाइज्ड. 99 इज जस्ट वर्किंग एज अ शील्ड इन द सेंस कि 1% को कभी गलती से बाई चांस कोई टेक्नोलॉजी स्पाइक हो गई तो उस टाइम उनको उसका दुख ना हो कि अरे इसका पेटेंट क्यों नहीं हमने फाइल किया था. वो उस, क्योंकि उनका ट्रिलियंस बिलियंस में टर्नओवर, तो वो रिस्क नहीं ले सकते. उन पे इतना पैसा है कि ठीक है इसका पेटेंट डालते चलो. और अगर नहीं हो तो इट मीन्स वो आप नहीं उसे काउंटर कर पाए, फिर वहां पे आप इन शॉर्ट पकड़े गए. कभी कभी हम देखते हैं कि कुछ मैं ऐसे स्टूडेंट्स को भी जानते हैं जिनको आप बुक भी दे दोगे वो फिर भी पास नहीं होंगे. तो अब आप वहां पे आप बोर्ड से जाके लड़ोगे, यार इसको तो मैंने बुक दी थी ये तो फिर भी आपने फेल कैसे कर दिया. तो अब आप उसका आंसर समझ रहे हैं कि या तो आप आइडिया ऐसे लिखो कि पेटेंट ग्रांट हो जाएगा, ठीक है, वेल एंड गुड है, आप उसे लगा दो अपने घर में, ऑफिस में. यस, बट अगर उसका पेटेंट ग्रांट नहीं हुआ तो आप फाइट भी नहीं कर सकते ना. इट मीन्स
And once you complete the work and the idea does not work out, तो क्या होता है?
मैम, पेटेंट ऑफिस डजंट केयर कि आपका आइडिया वर्क करे या ना करे. दैट इज नॉट वर्क फॉर पेटेंट ऑफिस. वैलिडेशन is not part of patent office, plagiarism is not part of patent office, copyright office. वो सिंपली बस चेक करते हैं जो मैंने 3 पैरामीटर्स बताए कि सेम कंटेंट नहीं होने चाहिए, इट शुड नॉट बी सिमिलर टेक्नोलॉजी, इट शुड हैव सम इन्वेंटिव स्टेप, द पीपल are examining there are highly qualified. So somewhere they know the thing कि किस तरह से step by
Yeah.
step. It is actually it is hypothetical.
Yeah,
So if-
yeah, that is my
Yes.
question.
So
If
if
it
he
is
feels-
like, it's a genuine work,
Yes,
it
if-
is hypothetical, you are pursuing that work, but finally what you have planned,
Yes.
it doesn't come out to be like this, then what happens?
Because in my patent, in my copyright, right, exactly I will say what I achieved after this work. So if that conclusion is meaningful, I will not say hypothetical, I will not say genuine, I will not say anything, I will simply say meaningful. जो जो हमने स्टेप्स लिखे थे, स्टेप 1, स्टेप 2, स्टेप 3, उस स्टेप्स को पढ़ के उस एग्जामिनर, उस पेटेंट ऑफिसर को लगता है कि यस इट कैन बी अचीव, देन यू विल गेट द ग्रांट. You should have convincing. That's why you are hiring me. I know ki how to project the thing and how to project the money and when to project the money. In India, we have license for those also that don't know how to drive.
So it is like probationary patenting.
Patenting is not probationary. Patenting is patenting. You will get the grant or you will not get the grant. It is nothing in between. So if your data is meaningful, if you have convinced the patent officer, you will get the grant simply. It doesn't matter कि आपने implement किया था या नहीं किया था. That's why there is a term TRL, technological readiness level. आप इसी वजह से इवन IIT CSIR लैब्स का भी देखेंगे तो उनका भी 100% कमर्शलाइजेशन नहीं है, नहीं, बिकॉज ऑफ दैट TRL कि आपने फाइल तो बहुत कुछ कर दिया, पेटेंट भी ग्रांट हो गया, फिर देयर आर फ्यू ऑर्गेनाइजेशन दैट डू TRL, टेक्नोलॉजिकल रेडीनेस लेवल चेक करता है, एंड दे आर फ्रॉम 10, 1 to 10 मीन्स वेरी बेसिक इन्वेंशन. आपकी बहुत बेसिक इन्वेंशन थी जो आपने कहा, आपका एक आइडिया था, आपने उसे ड्राफ्ट किया, फाइल किया, ग्रांट भी करवा लिया, बट उस पर भी स्टिल वी नीड टू सो मच टू डू. यस, तो वो आपका TRL 1-2 जैसी देखेगा ना, आप जब उस इंडस्ट्री के पास जाओगे, सर मैंने पेटेंट ग्रांट किया, आप बहुत खुशी खुशी जाओगे, वो आपको I had in some good company, top 500 Fortune company, believe me, वहाँ पे IITians के R&D हेड तक हमारे पास आते थे, हम उनसे मिलते तक नहीं. कि बड़ी कंपनीज के लिए बहुत नॉर्मल चीज है. यू ऑल्सो बिलीव बड़ी कंपनी अगर कोई विप्रो, इन्फोसिस, TCS का IPR हेड है तो उसके लिए बहुत नॉर्मल है. उसके पास MIT से भी आते होंगे, मैसेच्यूसेट्स से भी आते होंगे, हार्वर्ड से भी आते होंगे, उसके लिए IIT बहुत नॉर्मल वर्ड होगा. तो जैसे ही वो आपको वो TRL 1-2 सुनेगा ना, वो समझ जाएगा वहीं पे what exactly you got patent. Because sometimes have negative things also, as I told you. So we have good attorney. Why Salman Khan couldn't get jail in accident and Kala Hiran case? Why? Because the person was Harish Salve. वो जो जज बैठा था उसने उसके अंडर इंटर्नशिप की. You check the history of that cases. तो जो हरीश साल्वे ने जिसको आर्ग्यूमेंट देनी होती थी, वो जो जज बैठे थे वो उनके नीचे इंटर्नशिप करते थे. That's why I'm saying legal is very dynamic in nature. But eventually जब आप किसी से उसकी वर्क मांग रहे हैं, तब वो उसको एग्जैक्टली देखेगा, भाई मैं आपको क्यों पे करूं, why I will pay you. बिकॉज इसलिए कि आपको एक गवर्नमेंट अथॉरिटी ने पेटेंट ग्रांट कर दिया, वो क्या है क्या नहीं है वो उसे. So that's why we have TRL. TRL 9 to 10 means you have very good technical readiness in your invention and it is ready to implement. You are exactly what you are drafting, what you are presenting, it is in exactly you are having. So not only individual patent, even industry also files patent. Patent is not a small domain. I have spent 12 years and there are so many loopholes that madam said. So many loopholes. Now the time is like a very bad time, I'll say. Now no one is doing actual research. people is stealing, copying things in wrong manner, design around. People are not spending much in research where they don't know the output will come or not. People will hire a good attorney, कर तू, मैं देख लूंगा. This is the thinking.
With the coming in of artificial intelligence and whatever.
Yes.
So, is it impacting patent?
100% impacting, but it have both दोनों पहलू हैं इसके. If I have an idea जो मैंने अभी आपको बताया था, आप थे नहीं थे तो पता नहीं, जो अभी मैंने बायोट का और आप थे उस टाइम शायद आप नहीं पूछा, तो अभी मैंने बायोट का और केमिकल कंपोजिशन का एग्जांपल दिया था कि दो रिसर्च एक साथ कभी नहीं कर सकती. कुछ सीडी की और पेन ड्राइव की रिसर्च एक साथ नहीं रन हो सकती. If someone is in a domain that is obsolete and still spending money and still doing research, then totally he is wasting the time. That is obsolete in nature. So that's why we have landscape, we have to check white spaces. According to that, we have to move. First, we just need to check what exactly my need. My need is promotions, PhD, appraisal, or my need is actually to become a king in market. So we have to clear our goals first. We have a vision, because certificate is easy to achieve in copyright design, but implementation is not easy. Implementation is not easy. We have many number of patents that is still in a dilemma how it will work. Industry files patent as a both sword and shield. Sword, sometimes a big company when send a legal notice, obviously the person will stop his manufacturing, copying, selling the thing. And some big person इसने notice भेजा तो रुक जाओ. To stop these kind of things, they can do idea patent. They can take the grant and they don't have exactly the, but at the same time they are also stopping the small competitor. Sometimes in market we can also make a great loss from a small competitor if we will not take care about that. I remember my engineering days when I had a competition in Arisant company. Might be you heard this company in Gurgaon, Arisant. So I was very happy. I got selected. I got certificate. I got XYZ amount prize. But after a few days, I thought there were around thousands were students who sell their idea, who emboss their idea on their paper. Now Arisant is Arisant, multinational company, billions is their turnover. But what they don't have idea. Now that 1,000 top colleges students have written their idea on that papers, and the best idea now they will start in their lab. And even the student will not aware this idea has been registered by Arisant. Big companies works like somewhere kind of stealing things. This is the market exactly. We don't know in exactly who is inventing, but there is a chance that design around copying that you are saying. Because for a big firm, there is not easy. There is very easy to spend the money, to hire the, because everyone want to join that organization. अगर एक TCS ने organization ने अपना एक टाइटल लिख के निकाला कि कल से इस हम प्रोजेक्ट को स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं, वी नीड प्रोजेक्ट लीड है, टॉप इंस्टीट्यूट के लोग नेक्स्ट डे आ जाएंगे वहां पे. एट द सेम टाइम अगर कोई स्टार्टअप का आपको लगता है वो निकालेगा तो उसको कोई ध्यान भी देगा. So that's why we say big fish eat the small. Idea can patentable, but TRL matters. And mainly IPR is for what is the worth of your idea. आपको जो करना है आप करिए, no one will touch you until and unless you are not harming the other territory. Once you will start the harming others territory, जहाँ पे आपने किसी का business lose किया, then he will start to stop. किसी को क्या मतलब? किसी के पास इतना
hypothetical outcome पे आप कर सकते हो.
as and on this platform I cannot say, but I have explained all things. So it is up to you because I will not say do any unethical. Sometimes हम एग्जामिनर होते हैं पेपर में, हम जानते हैं कि वो बच्चा चीट कर रहा है, हम कहते हैं करने दो. कुछ ऐसे भी एग्जामिनर्स होते हैं जो बच्चों को हिलने नहीं देते, कुछ ऐसे भी होते हैं जानबूझ के वो गेट पे खड़े हो जाएंगे, उन्हें पता है क्लास क्या करते. They cannot say कि हाँ चीटिंग कर लो because they have their own limitations. So you have to evaluate all things.
Then that ethics is not there.
You cannot say this also ki ethics is there, but everything is having some their own parameters. If I am taking a copyright registration, if I am taking a patent for my promotion, I am not harming anyone, just taking a grant. So इसमें गलत क्या है? I am not harming any person. I am simply written something that is novel, inventive, and giving me some kind of certificate. Is it wrong? I don't think it is wrong. Because eventually I am spending my time and my money. So it is not unethical or ethical, you just need to do it. It is up to you. So plant variety protection, basically, if you have any new plant, any new variety, you can go for plant variety protection. As a social science, I don't think so. You will need to go in depth in this plant variety protection IPR. So it's a simple for biological, biotech related people, more important. And 18 years of term, once you have invented any new plant variety, you can maximum time period for 18 years. And breeders' right exclusive commercialization means commercialization is connected with every IPR. IPR is meaning for commercialize, is to earn money, obviously. So compulsory license is also here. If variety not reasonably available at reasonable price, so government have full right to compulsory license. Semiconductor IC layout design. This is another IPR. Basically, it is like we have PCB printed circuit board. So on that printed circuit board, if I have novel kind of circuitry, novel kind of that golden kind of lines, that integrated circuitry, we say. So you can take IPR for that also, IC layout design. Semiconductor devices, you can take IPR. As a whole, governing act, subject matter, duration, administering body. I am just mentioning in this my slide. So all these 7 IPR, patent, copyright, trademark, design, GI tag, plant variety, semiconductor IC, all IPR having their own law, own sections, own rules. So you have just know what is the section so that you cannot infringe others' property. Subject matter, inventions. This is the very good column. You can check what kind of IPR you can file. By this subject matter, you can just evaluate. For invention, you can go for patent for literary, artistic, musical work. You can go for copyright for distinctive sign and logos. You can go for trademark and for design, visual feature of articles. GI, basically geographical indication. Any IP related to because of that territory, like Swiss chocolate, like Kolhapuri chappal, any asset that is like falling under only that territory, famous due to that territory, that is for GI. This is the only GI that cannot file by single person because territory is involved. So there must be some organization, some association belonging from that territory, then only GI can file. Plant variety, semiconductor, and their duration 20 years, 60 years. So you can just check. Administering body, Indian Patent Office, Copyright Office, Trademark Office. So these are the administering body. So any other question for these 7 IPR? Please let me know. In GI. In GI, basically anything that belongs to that territory that should not be present like yes, and yes. Hmm. Yes, let's say for example, I just went a few days back a place Ratol in Uttar Pradesh. Might be you heard. So Ratol is famous for his mangoes. Very unique kind of mangoes in that territory. You will not find anywhere in the world. So because that territory cannot be owned by a single person, that territory have some association that deals in that farm, mango farms and kind of things. So when this association will move to the office and file whatever the subject matter, like mangoes are here. So means you just need to be association, because logically you can see Swiss chocolate, for example. Swiss chocolate, if I'm saying for that territory, so it is not because of one person. That is kind of cocoa producing in that territory and making chocolate. Yes, you can say kind of thing, but mainly no, I'm not getting exactly your question. Can you just explain little? Yes, yes, yes. Yes, but the kind of Rasgulla also. Rasgulla GI is having two territory. Rasgulla exactly. But the making process is same. But the kind of taste is, जो उड़ीसा का है वो उड़ीसा में ही है, जो बंगाल का है वो बंगाल का ही है. Not manufacturing means the taste, the exactly quality that cannot be produced any other place because of that origin. The kind of soul, the kind of farming जो भी है उसकी वजह से, for the same for the rasgulla, the same for the Swiss chocolate. So the things will be examined by the office, that what exactly it is claiming. It is not kind of process, it is not kind of machine kind of thing, but exactly the origin. Means the thing should be rooted in that origin. It should not be man-made in the sense in any factory or in any industry. It should be manufactured and it should be produced in that origin only. If it is the same thing is coming up with any other territory, the taste should not be like that. So I believe you will get done. So why IPR matters? Obviously, as I told you, incentive, the most important thing, incentive innovation. Obviously, if I'm spending money, if I'm spending time, then obviously I want something more and I want some rewards. Protect market positions, registration. So when I have IPR registration, no other person can do the manufacturing, selling, importing kind of thing. Enable commercialization, global harmonization. As we know, why the country US, China, Europe is getting developed, because they have their strong IPR system. They have their uh, enforcement of law is strong there. Every country is developed or not, I believe it is because of their law enforcement. Every developed country, जो मैंने भी आपसे कहा था कि यहाँ पे हम जैसे कहते हैं कि यहाँ पे एक मेंटेलिटी है डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज में कि इफ वी हैव समथिंग गुड इन पावर, financially sound, I can do the thing somewhere. So, but in developed nation, we have proper law enforcement. Law enforcement जितना अच्छा होगा country उतनी ही develop. So for a good country, for a developed country, we have law enforcement properly, so that any small, any ordinary person can also do the same thing as the any financial sound or any powerful person can do. It should not be person to person value. अगर सुप्रीम कोर्ट रात को 2:30 बजे उठ के एक को बेल देता है तो उसे नॉर्मल ऑर्डिनरी पर्सन को भी देनी चाहिए. if we are doing things like एक को बेल मिल जाती है, एक को बेल नहीं मिलती है, एक को बेल सालों तक केस लग जाते हैं नारकोटिक्स में, हेयरिंग ही नहीं होती, बट व्हेन द केम टू द शाहरुख खान सन, तो उसको फ्री भी हो जाता है वो 1 महीने में. Things are very dynamic in legal in India. So that's why global harmonization term I am using. We just need implementation. We need proper implementation of IPR. We just need to proper implementation of I law. Sorry, sir. Many factors may be there. Exactly, political factor, majorly political. What I see and what I believe. So, any question from my side? It's over. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening me. Thank you. Thank you.
Online
Hello, everyone. Online participants, anyone want to ask question? From the audience, anyone want to ask? Thank you, sir, for your
Thank you.
very informative session, which is very
Thank you.
required for the social scientist. Actually, because I think social scientist has the less one who appear for the IPR and the copyright. So I really thank you from our faculty members and the students who have get the knowledge about IPR and everything. Thank you.
for today.
Okay, so for today, this is the last session, ma'am.
And for high, at 4 o'clock in K3.
So everyone are invited for the high tea at K3 anthropology lab over the first floor. No, at the ground floor. It's ground floor. Please be there. Thank you. G21. Okay. Thank you.
K.
Acha.
Online photo message.
So this was the concluding part for the today's development program. So we will meet tomorrow at 9:30 again for the rest of our program. Thank you.